There's also a broader understanding of martyrdom in the Catholic Church. Father Philip Mary referencing the Feast of Holy Innocents, which honors the infants who were killed by King Herod during his attempt to find the child Jesus. The church calls them martyrs, and that same spirit may apply here.
So I think it's probably in that sense that if we wanted to use the language of martyrdom for these victims, we could. You know, these are children who died in church while they were praying, right? They weren't asked whether they believed in Jesus, but they clearly believed in Jesus. They weren't asked whether they would die for their faith, but they died when involved in an act of faith.
Now, of course, regardless of theological definitions, the Catholic Church just wants to ensure that the lives of these children aren't forgotten. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Annalise. And it would be great if the Pope can actually address the mental health crisis, not just in America, but around the world. We appreciate your report.
Thank you. Stay with First Edition. We'll be right back.
Nothing is off limits to David Harris Jr., and there's no apologies because he's armed with common sense, real faith, and the truth. Don't miss him on The Pulse tonight. Rick Leventhal reported on the biggest stories of our time. Now he's fighting to bring you the truth, no matter what it takes. Watch The Leventhal Report, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax 2.
You'll find them in cities, towns, and suburbs all across America. Millions of Americans who have Medicare and Medicaid but may be missing benefits they could really use. Extra benefits they may be eligible to receive at no extra cost. And if you have Medicare and Medicaid, you may be able to get extra benefits too through a Humana Medicare Advantage Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan. Call now to see if there's a plan in your area and to see if you qualify. With the Humana Medicare Advantage Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, you could have doctor, hospital, and prescription drug coverage in one convenient plan. Plus, most plans include the Humana Healthy Options Allowance. Get $1,200 a year. That's $100 each month to help pay for eligible groceries, utilities, rent, and more. Your allowance is conveniently loaded onto a prepaid card each month. And whatever you don't spend gets carried over to the next month. Plus, you could get other important benefits. Most plans include dental coverage with $0 copays for covered preventive services, vision coverage, including eye exams and a yearly allowance for eyewear, even hearing benefits with routine hearing exams and coverage toward hearing aids. And you could pay nothing for covered prescriptions, even brand name ones, all year long. You'll also get $0 copays for routine vaccines and telehealth visits. And you'll have access to Humana's multiple large plan networks of doctors, hospitals, and pharmacies. Best of all, if you have Medicare and Medicaid, you may be eligible to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan right now. So if you have Medicare and Medicaid, call now to see if there's a plan in your area that could give you extra benefits. A knowledgeable licensed Humana sales agent will explain your coverage options, even help you enroll over the phone. Call today and we'll also send this free guide. Humana, a more human way to health care.
Isn't it funny how President Trump always relates whatever he's talking about to his wins?
Yes.
Like moving, the Space Command Center to Huntsville, Alabama. Hey, I think I won that state by 47 points, ironically, right?
It's so great. I love when he does it, but it's also a reminder that he won by a...
Wake up to Friends in the Morning, Perry and Jerry. Weekdays on Mornings on the Dove. Encouraging and informative, the Dove TV.
good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Wednesday Morning Live, starring Jerry Bilden, right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Say it ain't so. Good morning.
Doesn't get any finer than right here. Good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. This is where it happens, and we try our best to let you know the truth.
Yeah, that's right.
We are here to wade through the stuff that you don't want to have to wade through.
Have you noticed how much wading it takes these days to get through so you can identify something as truth?
You know, you take one story and you track it through all of the sources out there, and you come out. It's kind of like, what do they say? A lie can go around the world 3 times before the truth gets out.
Yes.
Something like that.
You're right. Yes.
And boy, you can sure tell that on the way the media is today. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Wednesday already. Wow. We woke up to the smell of rain last night.
Not at my house, but when I got here, in fact, I was noticing the roads were wet, and I thought, what's going on? And I got out and went, it's the first thing I did.
You know,
it smells like rain.
Yeah, we had a good shower for about 45 minutes this morning, scattered around this part of the valley.
Okay.
And it wasn't accompanied by any lightning.
That is good.
I did see it last night, so I haven't. Looking at some of the fire stuff this morning, it looks like we may have made it through the night without any new strikes.
Okay, all right.
And if you look down the road, there could be some rain in the forecast a little bit further down the road. So we'll keep an eye on that one, especially down in Northern California where they need it.
Yes.
So I don't know if that is thunderstorm induced or just a system coming through. Our meteorologist, when he wakes up, he'll tell you.
You have a meteorologist?
Well, kind of.
What?
In training.
Okay, yeah. Heavy on the training.
Yeah, heavy on the training. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. What's going on?
Well, first of all, it's U.S. Bowling League Day. When's the last time you went bowling?
Oh, gosh, in 1904.
Yeah, when my back could take it. It's all changed.
You hold on to those shirts, they'll come back in style.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, you know that bowling used to be primarily an outdoor sport until around 1840. Yeah. It was called 9 pins. And it was popular with gamblers. And to snuff out gambling, the state of Connecticut banned it in 1841. As a result, indoor lane owners added 1 pin to their alleys to circumvent the law. Clubs tried organizing and creating set rules. However, it wasn't until 1895 when the American Bowling Congress came together in all places in Beethoven Hall in New York City, and they established a maximum score of 300, which still stands today. They also determined other rules such as lane lengths, widths, distances between pins, and bowling shirt styles. No, no, I threw that in.
Well, bowling shirts ought to be required for people running for public office.
Why?
Because they have all the sponsors on them.
And their name, so we know who they are. Yeah.
So we'll know who's paying for this.
That's a great idea.
So if you had to wear a patch from everybody that gave you money, then you know who you're bought and sold by.
You know what? That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. So
that is.
We ought to make sure that all former candidates wear a bowling shirt.
Okay.
With the sponsors on.
Oh, I love it. All right. We only have one other thing.
Have you ever played lawn bowling, though?
Lawn bowling? I never have. Is that, there's lawn bowling, and then there's this thing called, what's it, bocce or something like that? Isn't that kind of like lawn bowling where they roll the balls on the lawn and they...
Yeah, it's still very popular in the Commonwealth countries.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
And they do it. It's kind of a snobby little thing.
Well, of course, you know. Have you tried lawn tennis lately?
Well,
speaking of snobby.
they're out there and they're waddy-taws.
Speaking of this, why do they play tennis on grass?
Oh, well, that's Wimbledon.
Yeah, and that's the only one now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. And then you have France, which is clay.
Right. Yeah.
So you have clay, you have grass, and then you have the surface, the hard surface, and all the other places. Right. The U.S. Open's going on right now. It's kind of dramatic. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. How's it going for you? Anybody you're rooting for?
I will say this: the last of the older players is Djokovic. He's still in it, and he's the oldest one there, I think, playing. But there's a lot of new ones coming up that are doing really, really well. And U.S. is looking good. I think U.S. could be having some some title winners coming up in the next couple of seasons.
Really?
Yeah, it looks good for us. Yeah.
So you got any like Jimmy Connors or John McEnroe's coming up?
Well, you know
Chrissy
what's so
Everett's?
interesting?
What?
There's none of that showmanship on the court anymore.
Really?
You know, we went through a season. You had the Williams sisters.
Yes.
You had what's his name?
McEnroe.
McEnroe. Well, he was loud and crazy.
He was loud and crazy.
You
Jimmy
had
Connors was a little boisterous.
Well, he was out there, you know.
Bjorn Borg, he was pretty mild, you know. But
anyway, Nadal, Rafael Nadal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They had these little things they did before they, you know, he would pinch his nose and wipe his hair and color his ears, and then he would serve the ball, you know. They had all these rituals they went through, you know. So seemingly now that stuff is gone.
Really?
And we just have some good old hardcore tennis playing out there. And, you know, you take tennis, boxing, and bicycling are the 3 hardest individual sports.
Okay.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It's one-on-one.
Yeah.
It is the maximum on a human body.
All right.
Those 3 sports.
Have you
tennis, boxing, and cycling.
That's the hardest on the body. Have you tried skiing off a cornice in the snowstorm?
Well, okay.
Sorry.
Now, there's something...
No, I'm sorry I opened that can of worms. I am so sorry.
Okay, there's a difference between intentional and unintentional. There's a difference between smart training and stupidity.
Let's have something to eat.
Okay, let's go with it.
This morning, we are eating National Welsh Rarebit, because it's that day. It is, so what is it? What is rarebit? It's a cheesy toast. It was originally called rabbit in a tongue-in-cheek way in the Welsh language because there is no rabbit in the meal, similar to mock turtle soup having no turtle in it. Welsh rarebit does not contain rabbit. Instead, the dish is made with toast that has hot cheese poured over it. Over time, the dish became known as Welsh rarebit, a nod to the inside joke. Now, fondue may come to mind because it sounds very fondue-ish, but Welsh rarebit more commonly uses wheat bread and cheddar cheese. A typical European fondue would start with Swiss cheese. As with any dish, there are variations of Welsh rarebit, and this is where I'm going. Some of the recipes call for cayenne pepper, mustard, Worcestershire, or paprika. Top the cheese with a poached egg, and it's called a golden buck. Add bacon, and some call it a meal, a Yorkshire buck.
Wow.
I'll take the Yorkshire buck.
That thing's got your name all over it.
All over it, yes. It's got spice, it's got bacon, it's got cheese. What could be wrong with this?
I don't know.
Nothing. Okay.
And more Tabasco sauce.
And more Tabasco sauce. Okay. Let me ask you this. How many times you woke up in the middle of the night, you have trouble getting back
4
to
last
sleep?
night.
Well, there you go. I rest my case. Every night almost. But you wake up and you try to go back to sleep and you can't. And sometimes you figure, why don't I just get up and do something? Well, did you know that used to be the case before the 1800s? People didn't sleep straight through the night. They slept in what they call batches. Instead, people had what they called a first sleep and then a second sleep. The first sleep lasted for about 4 hours. Then people would wake up in the middle of the night, sometimes to read, pray, visit neighbors, or even do some chores. After a couple hours, they'd head back to bed for their second sleep, waking up in the morning. Did you ever hear anything like this? 2 sleeps?
Well,
it makes sense. In a way.
Well, in Hispanic culture, they call it a siesta.
A siesta, very good. But I think this
they
siesta...
did it in the afternoon.
Yeah, this siesta...
But a lot of these people didn't eat dinner till 11 o'clock at night.
Well, I was going to say, first of all, if you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and you're going to spend a couple hours up doing stuff, you're probably going to have to go to sleep a lot earlier. You go to sleep 10, 11 o'clock at night, and you spend all of a sudden you're way under 8 hours if you're going to spend a couple hours up, and then get up in the morning and go to work. So, but how does your clock work? If you get up in the middle of the night, are you able to go back to sleep?
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
It depends, you know.
Things start, what happens?
What woke me up.
Yeah, well, there you go. Usually I just have to get up and go to the bathroom, excuse me.
Well, you get to the age where that's how you measure a good night's sleep.
Well, exactly right, and how things change.
Let's get off.
Remember when we were in our 20s and you pulled an all-nighter? Well, now an all-nighter means you slept all night.
let's get off this.
I'm sorry.
We just aged our audience.
I know, but
I know, I get
truth
it.
is, we were talking about cutting through and getting to the truth. We just did.
So after you have that little experience, do you fall back to sleep?
Yeah.
Or do you do it in your sleep?
No. Where are we going?
I have no idea.
Me too.
Okay.
How about...
Okay, well, listen, I don't know how to overcome that. Here's a guy that gets up 4 times a night.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, partly sunny skies with daytime highs in the upper 80s for Vancouver, Portland, and McMinnville, and low 90s in Wilsonville, with a light northwest wind and lows tonight in the mid-60s. Moving down the Willamette Valley, partly sunny and near 90 in Salem and Albany, decreasing clouds with highs in the upper 80s in Corvallis and low 90s for Eugene with a north-northwest wind around 5 miles per hour this afternoon. In central Oregon, partly sunny with a high in the mid-90s for Prineville, decreasing clouds in near 90 in Bend and 88 in Sun River. Sunny in Boise, Idaho with a high near 96 as temperatures start to inch downwards. Widespread haze along the Oregon coast this morning, then sunny in low 70s in Coos Bay, 69 in Port Orford, and upper 50s in Brookings. Early patchy fog in Crescent City, California, then partly sunny in mid-60s. In southern Oregon, sunny with patchy smoke and haze in the Rogue Valley with highs near 100 for Grants Pass and Medford and 97 in Ashland. In the Klamath Basin, sunny with daytime highs in the low 90s. Into northern California, sunny with patchy smoke and a high near 96 in Wairika. Sunny and hot with a high near 100 in Redding, 97 in Chico, and near 95 in Sacramento with a light southwest wind. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then mostly sunny in mid-80s for Santa Rosa, decreasing clouds in near 82 in Napa, gradually becoming sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 70s, and today in San Jose, mostly sunny and 85. A snapshot of your Wednesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Hi, good morning, and there's a beautiful shot from the top of Roxanne looking to the northeast a little bit. We see some clouds out there, and you can also see that yellow haze, and we'll give you a fire update, but there are some fires out there this morning, and we'll keep you posted on that.
It's a pretty sight. Okay, well, we know that we are instructed to love God and to love people, even when you don't feel like it.
Oh, feelings.
Oh, yes, here as pointed out with Dr. Anthony George.
But you know what? When you love God, you will love people. And if you don't love people, it's because you don't love God. Loving people is hard work. Not everyone you love is easy to love. Not everyone you love deserves your love. Not everyone you love will love you back. But it's still what God wants you to do, is just to keep loving them, because that's how God loves you. And that's how God loves me. And if I love Him, I have to keep loving people. You say, I don't feel it. It's not about what you feel. Let's have a little Osteen going on here. You say, I love her, I love him. Speak it and it'll follow. Amen. I believe that. I don't believe everything in the Word of Faith movement, but I do believe your words can shape your attitude and your disposition. And if you want to love somebody, you just start praying for them. And when you start praying, you don't say, I don't want to pray for them. There's your problem. If you don't want to pray for them, you're saying, I don't want to talk to God about them. That's a spiritual thing. We are told to bless those who curse us, to love our enemies, and to pray for them. So love people.
Okay, that was a sermon last Sunday. And every once in a while, I think he drinks Tabasco sauce straight out of the bottle.
It could be.
He got wound up.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And you may want to just go online to First Baptist Atlanta and watch the sermon.
He has.
But he got pretty wild up, and but that was the beginning of the wild up part.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
But he's pretty passionate.
How do you find his message? How do you get to it?
Well, you can watch it on YouTube.
Okay. Oh, all right.
First Baptist Church of Atlanta. That was Charles Stanley's former church.
Yeah.
And but he's he puts jalapeno on his cereal, I think, you know.
That sounds.
But he got pretty wild up, and it's fun to watch. I mean, it's really something. I mean, he is. I think personally, I think he's one of the up-and-coming great communicators.
Yeah.
So he's solid. Biblically, he is solid as a rock. So good stuff all the way around. All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories. And, of course, the big stories is President Trump has zeroing in on crime across the country, and it's being received with mixed emotions. The hard part about this whole argument, why are Democrats opposing safer cities?
Yeah, that's a great.
It boils down to just that.
Yeah.
And the question is, if your city isn't safe, then why haven't you done something about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So has it been politicized?
Yeah.
And somebody followed the money trail. They need more money for more cops and all that stuff.
Well, it's always Democrats' answer for everything is give me more money.
So the president basically said after what's going on in Washington D.C. and bringing that crime level down. Blocking the border, no illegal crossings in 3 months.
Right.
I mean, it shows you that not only that it can be done, that it could be done. It could have been done a long time ago if people just was determined. So the big one is Chicago is now really a mess. 54 shootings last weekend, 8 dead. And that's turning out to be an average weekend in Chicago.
Yeah.
And the citizens there are really upset and want something done. And the mayor is borderline getting booed out of town.
Right. Although he keeps, contending that crime is at an all-time low.
So the president said, he's probably will deploy National Guard. He really wants governors and mayors to call him in. But he also has this other presidential obligation of keeping citizens safe. It's one of the highest things of his oath of office. And so he says, we're probably going to send National Guard into Chicago, calling the Democratic Midwestern city a hellhole ravaged by gun crime. And here's what he had to say on Newsmax.
Chicago, everybody knows how bad it is. Everybody standing there knows. We know. You don't have to be doing any studies. They should be saying, please come in. We go in, we will solve Chicago within 1 week, maybe less, but within 1 week we will have no crime in Chicago, just like we have no crime in D.C. But, I don't like to go in and do it and then have somebody stand up and say what a great job he's doing on crime. And we don't want the military in our state. We don't want the military. Do you understand? Do you understand that?
Yeah, these governors will say.
So I don't know.
There is no emergency
response. We're going to have a little meeting, I think. I feel like we go in and we do it, like here. To a lesser extent with the mayor, she hasn't been terrible, but she hasn't been, exactly saying, oh, great. She did say last night, I heard her say that, well, we really don't want the military in D.C. Well, that's, not very nice, I guess. That's a little bit of a hit. But she's not as bad as some. We saved Los Angeles, and all we did is get criticized by this idiot that's running the state into the ground, right? Where people are leaving. He should be thanking us, and he should be requesting us to be there. And the governor of Illinois should be. Chicago's a disaster.
All right, so look, he's obviously being criticized for militarizing America, dictator, the list goes on and on and on and on. While the citizens are crying for help, they want to be able to walk the streets at night, go to a restaurant without getting mugged and all those things. And the D's are going to try hard to demonize them through all of this. But let me ask you a question, a simple one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, keep it real simple.
All right.
Well, the first question I asked earlier, you got a crime problem, why haven't you solved it?
Right.
They can't answer the question. It's always about money. Okay.
Right, just like the border was.
Okay.
Remember that?
Got to have more money.
Yeah.
Okay. So we proved now we can do it without money.
Exactly.
Okay. What is the National Guard for?
Yeah.
This kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay? Every state has its National Guard, then you have the federal National Guard, which the National Guard is under the federal government. Okay?
Right.
But you can call it the Oregon National Guard. You can call it California National Guard.
Yeah, but the word national is in all of it.
It's in all of it.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a preemptive strike there, so to speak.
Okay.
But the point being, what is it there for? Okay, it's there for stuff like this.
Yeah, emergency situations.
And you remember, it was declined on January 6th.
Right, by Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, she was offered, and she actually regretted that, but you have to really dig to find that out.
Well, in the meantime, he's going to go to Chicago. You can just rest assured this is going to be big news.
He's got a great,
Hold on.
He's got a great way to find an 80-20 issue.
Yeah.
Him being on the 80% and going after it and not stopping.
The citizens in the city want this stopped.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Israel, we'll get more on this from CBN Newswatch, but Israel yesterday called up 40,000 reservists.
Oh.
As they now begin to head into the actual offense of Gaza City and tightening the noose, so to speak. And so this isn't going away. It's not slowing down. It's actually becoming more and more involved. And we'll have more on that for you coming up in just a few moments from CBN News. But I got to tell you, they called up 40,000 reservists.
That's amazing. Now, there's mandatory military service.
Out of high school.
Right. Isn't that interesting?
Male and female.
Right. So you live in a country where basically everybody has military training.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And they know how to use a weapon.
Oh, sure.
So, and you can walk this, if you ever go to Israel or if you ever go to Jerusalem, you'll see these young people carrying their military weapon, walking the streets and having a falafel.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
The other story is get elected to Congress and become rich.
Oh, we've seen a bit of this, haven't we?
So Ilham Omar got caught, and she said, well, we're not millionaires. Well, guess what? They pulled all the records, and they find out that from 2023, her and her husband, Tim Minett, were worth $51,000. Okay? In 2024, somewhere between, now this is, listen to this gap. They went from $51,000 net worth to 6 to 30 million.
What?
Now, how come you can't figure out between 6 and 30?
Right. Yes.
Let alone jumping from 51,000 to 6 million.
And can you figure out where that 6 to 30 came from?
I can't help but think it's a couple of places.
What?
Okay, I think it's coming from the NGOs.
Yeah.
Okay, and the NGOs basically flooding their campaign coffers with money that has come from us, went to an agency, got pushed over to an NGO, and then the NGO turns around and gives it to campaign people.
How did those funds become personal funds?
See, that we got to find out.
Yeah.
Where's the FEC?
Yeah.
So how does this happen? How do you go from 51,000 net worth to 6 to 30 million in a year?
She's been consulting with Nancy Pelosi, no doubt.
Well, that's another issue.
Yes.
Inside trading.
Yes.
So anyway.
Do we have oversight committees that look at these specific type issues?
Supposedly, yes. You know, if you bog the system down with so many problems, which was part of the left's deal, you overwhelm the system that it can't police itself.
Right.
You overwhelm police agencies with so much crime they can't do with it.
You know what they have no trouble doing? They have no trouble hauling Donald Trump in on weird allegations for this and that, of inflating property values, in a case of defrauding other individuals where no one was defrauded. It was like, but they can do those things, but these things just flap in the wind.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and Jerry and I are going to do some inside trading. We'll be right back.
Big ideas grow.
He said, this is a problem and we may have waited too long.
I heard the words very clearly, if you're having a bleed, and you want to stop the bleeding, why aren't you using the Word of God to stop this bleeding?
He woke up and Ezekiel 16:6 was in his mind. He didn't know what the scripture said. And so I open up the Bible and it says, yea, when I saw you in your blood, live.
Thursday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
The big idea of Christianity is to live coram Deo, to live all of one's life in the presence of God, under the authority of God, and to the honor and to the glory of God. Let me say that again. The big idea, coram Deo, is to live one's life in the presence of God, under the authority of God, to the honor and glory of God. That's what it's all about. Jesus said it succinctly this way: if you love me, keep my commandments. Which is to say, if you want to please me, you please me by doing what I have commanded you to do.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
Okay, welcome back. Happy Wednesday to you. Some backyard news. People want to know, did the bill go through with the special session? It's actually stuck in the Senate. What happened was that this is the bill to raise taxes across the state to pay for a shortfall in the ODOT's budget. And a senator from Gresham, apparently a Democratic senator from Gresham, had some health issues, couldn't come to the floor to vote, and they needed his vote to pass it. So it's kind of stuck in the Senate. Now, here's what's expected to happen. This is expected to pass in spite of the fact, did I tell you, in spite of the fact, the people that testified before they went into the voting part of the bill, 94% of Oregonians who testified opposed the bill. But all the Democrats ignored that and passed all the tax increases anyway. 94% said don't do this. So in spite of that, it looks like that this is going to go through and become law. And at this point, then, hopefully we can go ahead and file a challenge to put it on the ballot, which means we'll have to gather these signatures and put it on the ballot and stop it. It's a hard way to do business, but it's the only way the Democrats can get the message that the Oregonians across the state do not want their taxes increased.
Yeah, what do you think the chances are of being able to stop this?
I think they're getting better.
Okay.
And I look, I don't want us to become cynical and say, oh, well, it's a blue state, give up. No, this cuts in everybody. And the fact that they couldn't get it through the normal session and they had to do it in a special session, which everybody thinks is behind closed door and nobody what's going on. Well, you know, to the most part, most Oregonians had no idea what was going on and still don't know that this hung up in the Senate.
Yeah.
So they went through the Labor Day weekend on this special session. This is just absolute ludicrous. Anyway, point being is, it hasn't quite finished yet. It's expected to pass. Then the battle 2 starts.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I want to do is quickly give you some updates on these fires. It's pretty bad around us here. We had some smoke in the area, and the threat of thunderstorms is pretty bad. The Dillon fire, which is just to the south of us here, is 7,700 acres, only 7% contained. The Blue Fire, which is just the Dillon fire is just south of Happy Camp, California. The Blue Fire, which is just south of, about 4 miles south of a place called Syad Valley. That's 1,631 acres, zero containment. The Flat Fire up in Sisters and out towards Prineville is 81% contained, 23,000 acres. But just south of that is the Immigrant Fire. South of where the Flat Fire is 26,000 acres and zero containment. Then they have the Peak Fire, which is down in Northern California, 505 acres, no containment. Now, some of the stuff is in really tough terrain. And they're trying to fly where they can and when they can. You got to remember, flying, you got to be able to see where you're going. So the smoke plays a big issue. Heat plays a big issue on air density and how these planes can fly and how much weight they can carry and still have enough power to get out of a canyon. So all of those are factors. But we have these fires around us. Now, I will say this, as bad as these fires are, they're not as bad as we've seen in the past. And we do have, we're kind of in a spot here in Southern Oregon where it comes in from the north and comes in from the south. Has a lot to do with which way the winds are going, the prevailing winds, and we get the smoke. But still very much a high fire danger out there, and will be for quite some time, so be careful. All right, take a look at the satellite image, and here's what's going on out there. You see that disturbance off there?
I see it.
It's possible. It's possible that could deliver some stuff in a few days.
Could be by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a chance of showers right from that pocket. In the meantime, high 90s today and tomorrow, but backing off.
Yeah.
And by the weekend, down into the 80s. And then, again, as we say, a chance of showers Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but temperatures dipping into the mid 70s and upper 60s.
Okay.
What a change.
Now, can you guys bring that back up again? Can you show that shot one more time, Scott? I wanted to show you something here, that weather shot.
Yeah.
All right, now, if you look at that disturbance off the shoreline, look where it's heading. Now, the reason I bring that up, this was the lately on Huntsaker's big deal. We get these systems offshore like that, and they're counterclockwise, and they're coming right for the state line between California and Oregon. See where it's heading?
Yeah.
And for some reason, as it comes onshore, it splits. Some goes north and some goes south. And he said that's why sometimes the Rogue Valley doesn't get the rain.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know about this one because the forecast says we're going to get it. But you can see how these systems form off the out in the Pacific. They come towards us, and they always come for the state line. Yeah. So anyway, a little weather info.
All right.
Here by the other make-believe meteorologist.
Nobody's faking anything around here. Come on.
Well, I did. I studied that in aviation.
Okay. Yeah.
And I had to do it
no
the hard
doubt.
way. I actually had to read a book. There were no computers then. we actually had to look at maps.
Yeah.
We had to look at elevation, wind maps, and all that stuff. Today, you look it up on a computer.
Right.
You know.
Right. All right. Yeah. Well. Newsmax's Wake Up America, Maryland Representative Andy Harris criticized, of all people, Chuck Schumer. Imagine that. And his refusal to negotiate on spending and pushing for a government shutdown.
Well, Chuck Schumer refuses to negotiate on a reasonable budget. He wants to increase spending. He wants to increase spending a whole lot. Obviously, we can't afford that. We want to hold the line. We'd like to freeze spending. And he may choose not to agree to that and cause a government shutdown on September 30th, but that's up to him. We need to freeze spending. We need to lower spending. And if we need to go it alone to do that, then we'll show the American people that we're willing to go it alone. The fact of the matter is that the Democrats have not engaged in reasonable negotiation. They still refuse to tell us how they choose to close a $2 trillion budget gap every year, except through raising taxes. That's all they want to do. They always just want to raise taxes. And when Chuck Schumer says, from the outset that we're not going to negotiate, we want to restore, for instance, the foreign aid funding, the wasteful foreign aid funding. Thank goodness President Trump rescinded from this year's budget. You're not going to get very far. So, look, Chuck Schumer's going to have to make up his mind. Does he want to shut the government down or not? And if he does, he'll have to deal with the American people, because it'll become clear that all we're calling for is level funding, literally a freeze in spending in the face of a $2 trillion budget deficit every year. I think the American people not only expect us to freeze spending, I think they expect us to decrease spending. So I think we're in a very reasonable position on the Republican side.
I really hope that they stay on this now, get on it hard, and blame Chuck Schumer for the shutdown. And you know what? Shut her down.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
We've lived through these before.
Yep.
But it sounds like they're out in front of the argument before the Democrats get out in front of the argument. Usually the Democrats are out now saying, Trump's going to shut the government down. We're going to shut the government down. Right. Well, look at this. It's the other way around.
It's the other way around. Exactly right.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
27 before the hour, we're going to take a,
Welsh rarebit. A little cheesy toast this one.
Oh, really? I was going to tell you, if you buy this for $25 a share, I'll guarantee you'll get $65 a share tomorrow for it. Oops. We'll be right back.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. The clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Where big ideas grow.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
Good morning to you. 24 minutes before the hours, as we mentioned before, 40,000 reservists have been called up in Israel to head to Gaza City. So let's check in with CBN Newswatch.
This is CBN Newswatch.
We begin, though, in Israel, where the military operation in the last Hamas stronghold in Gaza City has begun, as the leader of the Israeli forces talks of, quote, decisive victory. And as Israel launches a new surveillance satellite to enable it to keep an eye on even more of the Middle East. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl brings us the latest from Jerusalem.
Israel officially launched its ground operation in Gaza City on Tuesday after a massive call-up of reservists. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu commended the reservists and noted Israel's victories in the war against Iran's proxies, but emphasized that Hamas must be defeated.
We're working to defeat Hamas, but along the way, we've worked wonders together because we broke the Iranian axis, both in Gaza, in Lebanon with Hezbollah, and with the Assad regime that collapsed. Also with Iran itself that posed existential threats to us, and we removed them together, and now also with the Houthis. But what began in Gaza must end in Gaza.
Some 33,000 reservists reported for duty and are gearing up for their entry into Gaza. Media reports said several thousand did not show up, but will report, mostly citing strain on families and businesses for their delay. IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir thanked the reservists and said Israel will not end the war until the enemy is defeated.
We have already begun the ground operation in Gaza. Make no mistake, we are already entering places we have never entered before and operating there with courage, strength, valor, and an extraordinary spirit. I want to tell you that nowhere does the IDF offer anything less than decisive victory.
On the international front, Belgium says it will recognize a Palestinian state at this month's UN General Assembly, but only if Hamas returns all 48 Israeli hostages and is removed from power in Gaza. In the meantime, Belgium plans to impose sanctions on Israel. This morning, Israel intercepted a Houthi missile launched days after an IDF strike eliminated most of the Houthi leadership. Overnight, Israel's Ministry of Defense successfully launched the Ophek-19 surveillance satellite, considered a significant leap forward in Israel's defense capabilities in space. Its space program is credited with helping Israel achieve success in the war against Iran and throughout the region.
with OFIC 19's groundbreaking technology, will provide Israel with new operational capability and enable us to maintain our operational superiority in space. The Sword of Iron word and Operational Rising Lion clearly emphasize the strategic importance of the capability we developed and launched into space, confronting warfare across 7 active arenas simultaneously.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Yeah, some pretty incredible technology there. Well, our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell is with us now from Jerusalem. Chris, both Netanyahu and the IDF chief sound very determined to finish off Gaza, but could this become a long, protracted guerrilla war in the city?
Well, I really don't think so, George, and here's why. The IDF has really learned a lot in the nearly 2 years of fighting Hamas. They want to minimize IDF casualties. They also want to minimize civilian casualties. What they're going to do, slow but methodical, they're going to use their use of munitions to destroy the Hamas infrastructure, which is formidable, a labyrinth of tunnels and booby-trap buildings. But they understand as well there's a political clock that is ticking, perhaps with the White House wanting to get the war in Gaza over as soon as possible. Also, the international clock is ticking, as Julie alluded to in that report. They do want to finish the job thoroughly, but as soon as possible. Giving all these criteria, I really do believe it won't be too long based on what they've learned, what they need to do, and how they've learned those lessons over nearly 2 years, George.
Yeah, Chris, real quickly follow up. What comes next? If it's going to be a swift operation, what comes next?
The big question for the last almost 2 years has been what's going to happen after the war? Who's going to take over? Is the IDF going to have security control? Is there going to be some sort of civilian administration? Is that going to be from the UAE or Saudi Arabia? Going to have 2 million Gazans. Are they going to be allowed to stay? Are they going to go to other countries? That was alluded to in the report by Trump. What they want to have post-war. They want to make a resort and a sort of a industrial manufacturing and AI center. We'll see. But first of all, Gaza City's got to be defeated, and that's the next goal for the IDF and the government.
All right, let's see what it goes. All right, let's check out the weather with Mr. Trader himself.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, partly sunny skies with daytime highs in the upper 80s for Vancouver, Portland, and McMinnville, and low 90s in Wilsonville, with a light northwest wind and lows tonight in the mid-60s. Moving down the Willamette Valley, partly sunny and near 90 in Salem and Albany, decreasing clouds with highs in the upper 80s in Corvallis and low 90s for Eugene with a north-northwest wind around 5 miles per hour this afternoon. In central Oregon, partly sunny with a high in the mid-90s for Prineville, decreasing clouds in near 90 in Bend and 88 in Sun River. Sunny in Boise, Idaho with a high near 96 as temperatures start to inch downwards. Widespread haze along the Oregon coast this morning, then sunny in low 70s in Coos Bay, 69 in Port Orford, and upper 50s in Brookings. Early patchy fog in Crescent City, California, then partly sunny in mid-60s. In southern Oregon, sunny with patchy smoke and haze in the Rogue Valley with highs near 100 for Grants Pass and Medford and 97 in Ashland. In the Klamath Basin, sunny with daytime highs in the low 90s. Into northern California, sunny with patchy smoke and a high near 96 in Wairika. Sunny and hot with a high near 100 in Redding, 97 in Chico, and near 95 in Sacramento with a light southwest wind. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then mostly sunny in mid-80s for Santa Rosa, decreasing clouds in near 82 in Napa, gradually becoming sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 70s, and today in San Jose, mostly sunny and 85. A snapshot of your Wednesday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, there you go. A little of everything there this morning. That's a picture from the east side of the valley looking westward, probably around, I'm going to say, I don't know, 290. 300 degrees. Anyway, the point being is that you see temperature inversion, which is kind of the haze. You see some clouds, which was left over from the rain, and you got some smoke all mixed in, and the sun's not all the way up yet. So a little of everything going on there.
Your directional aptitude is pretty uncanny.
What does it say?
I think you're right on the. It's scanning, so it's changing now. But I look at those numbers when you say that. Yeah, I mean it's like you're a pilot or something.
Well,
what's up with that?
I actually know I actually know where 360 is. That number out there, 34.
360 means a full rotation. Yeah.
That's when your trailer passes you?
Yes.
That's a problem.
And speaking of driving and pulling a trailer, imagine you live in a country where you drive on the left side of the road. And then the government says on September 3rd, everybody's switching. You're now going to drive on the right side of the road. And that happened on this day in history in Sweden.
On September 3rd, 1967, Sweden carried out one of the most daring traffic experiments in history, Dagen H, or H-Day. Overnight, the entire country switched from driving on the left-hand side of the road to the right. It was an unpopular move, but a couple of the arguments for the change were all of Sweden's immediate neighbors drove on the right, including Norway and Finland, with which Sweden has land borders and then problems at border crossings. And most Swedes drove left-hand drive vehicles. This led to many head-on collisions when passing on narrow two-lane highways, which were common in Sweden because of its low population density and traffic levels. So at exactly 5 a.m., traffic everywhere in Sweden came to a halt. Cars carefully crossed over the opposite lane, guided by thousands of road workers and police. Even buses had been modified, doors moved from the left to the right. Many feared chaos, but remarkably, the change went surprisingly smoothly. Accidents actually dropped in the first year because drivers were so cautious. Of course, there were moments of confusion. Parking lots, roundabouts, and intersections proved tricky, and some drivers instinctively drifted back to the left. Still, Dagen H is remembered as a massive logistical success, proof that an entire nation really can change lanes together.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. You know, what's cool about that, though, is it's a reminder why we can't in Oregon do away with daylight savings.
Why?
You'd have to have California and Washington.
The borders, yeah.
You got to do that.
Yeah, imagine if you're bordering Norway and Finland, they drive on the other side of the road, and when you
at the border, you got to do this.
You got to move over. Plus, I didn't realize that most people in Sweden drove in left-hand drive cars anyway.
Yeah.
So they're on the wrong side of the road, and they have narrow roads and highways, so there were collisions.
There you
it's
go.
like, okay, well, they did it.
Well, if you've ever driven on the left-hand side, let me tell you, it's a trick.
Oh, gosh, yeah, I know. But I think it was interesting. Accident rates went back down because people were so cautious. But after they got used to it, they settled down in their cautiousness, and accident rates went back up to their normal levels.
Well, I drove an MG on the right-hand drive on the left side of the road with a stick shift.
Oh, goodness.
So you had to move the stick shift from your right hand to your left hand?
Oh, yeah, that would be interesting.
Peggy's yelling and screaming.
Is the pattern exactly the same?
Yeah, it was the same.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway.
Interesting.
But it was fun. It was a hoot. All right, well, listen, American Space Force. Okay, well, I thought it was supposed to go to Mars, but apparently it's going to Huntsville, Alabama.
That's what I heard,
According to the president, here's what he had to say.
And I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama, we love Alabama. I only won it by about 47 points. I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it, Huntsville in particular. So congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs, and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, and that's billions, because it can't be millions, it's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it.
Wow. Wow. Take that, Colorado.
Okay, well, Rocket City, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Rocket City with a little, with the gravy runs over into the grits. We'll be right back.
The Lennox Comfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
It's a turbulent time. Our values are under attack and being challenged with so much coming at us every day. Focus Today with Perry Atkinson helps you sort it out to bring you hope and encouragement so you can stay alert.
But I can't find the crime. I've been doing this for 60 years.
Focus Today, every weekday, an in-depth look and conversation with experts who have a finger on the pulse of what's going on in America and the world.
Anticipating a strike by Iran.
Focusing on the day's events.
Democrats have weaponized our entire government.
Perry Atkinson asks the questions that you want to know.
What's your take today, these many years later?
It's an hour you need to strengthen your faith and stay informed on the urgent issues coming at us.
For a time such as this, Focus Today is an important hour you need to see.
Watch Focus Today weekdays on theDove TV. Encouraging and informative. See past episodes and more at theDove.us.
Hey, it's your old car here. Remember me? Remember us? You barely even turn me on anymore. It's clear you don't need me, but that's perfectly fine, my friend, because you can choose to give this old car new purpose and donate. There are incredible nonprofits out there that accept cars just like me. So call or donate online. Donating a vehicle is easy, the pickup is free, and your gift is tax deductible.
All right. Yesterday, I had Christina Bobb on. Now, she actually worked for President Trump. She worked for the RNC. She's all over the place. But I did ask her, and by the way, she's under federal investigation. She was at Mar-a-Lago during the actual raid.
Oh, yeah.
And so I asked her about the raid on John Bolton's house and what's it all about. And here's what she had to say.
Great question. I'm looking forward to seeing what they put out. We know that they have said that there's classified information involved in one way or another. We know from the Presidential Records Act that it's the president and only the president who determines what he can take, what the president can take, and what he has to leave. So John Bolton is not covered by that. So he's not allowed to leak anything, or he's not allowed to take any information with him. We've heard bits and pieces of things coming out. Maybe he sent some classified information to his family. Why that would be important for them, it's not clear. I'm curious to see if this is all related to his book, which we know there's been a lot of chatter about that there may have potentially been classified information in his book, versus is this connected to something greater? Maybe the Crossfire Hurricane issue. You know, Tulsi Gabbard has put out a lot of new information that we hadn't seen before about the attempt to thwart Donald Trump once he went into office in his first term. Is this related to that? So there's a lot of ways this could go, but I like the way things are going right now, and comparing what happened with John Bolton to Mar-a-Lago, because I was on site for Mar-a-Lago, it's interesting to me to see some of the differences.
Okay, so what she was saying during the interview, that the raid on John Bolton's house, she thinks there's significant probable cause, because this administration cannot afford to make a mistake like the former administration did by raiding Mar-a-Lago with no probable cause, and to this day there was no probable cause.
Right, yeah.
And it was done without warning. And this one over here on John Bolton, there was plenty of warning. We're going to do it, and they went in and did it. They think that there is information there. Of course, we won't know about it for quite some time. But he could be in big hot water if he had classified information and he shared it with other people. And did he use it in publishing his book?
Well, that's the big suspicion. So when do you think we're going to find out some of these details?
I think down the road. I think that what you have with Pam Bundy and Kash Patel, you've got a whole lot more sophisticated people that are not just arbitrarily doing things and creating headlines. They're actually thinking. So in time.
Yeah.
In time. In time. Hey, guess who's going to be with me today?
Ooh.
Eric Stackelbeck.
Oh.
I haven't had him for quite a while.
Yeah.
Steckelback.
Steckelback.
Doesn't that sound like a football player's name?
It does. He should be.
He should be a linebacker for the TBN football team.
Maybe he was.
Yeah. We'll
check
talk
it
to
out.
him. He's pretty hawkish on Israel. We'll talk to him about that coming up.
All right. Well, you know a lot about pollinators, and you were a beekeeper at one time. Well, we've talked a lot about bees and pollinators in general, but here's the latest. Robo-bees.
Robo-bees.
Yes.
In 2021, MIT researchers tried to mimic the flight of bees, but their first robot ended up with 8 wings and 4 bodies, a design that proved a little inefficient. Now they've built a sleeker robotic bee much closer to nature's blueprint. This new model with just 4 wings can fly for 17 minutes, 100 times more efficient than before, and is even capable of aerial flips. The breakthrough, published in Science Robotics, could one day help pollinate crops in places where bees struggle, like vertical indoor farms or even in hazardous environments like space or radiation zones. MIT professor Kevin Chen says the design marks the longest flight time yet achieved in the field, bringing robotic pollinators closer to real-world use. And with their tiny mechanical muscles, these robo-bees could soon give nature's pollinators a helping hand.
Robo-bees.
How do they pollinate?
I don't know, maybe they have little receptacles, sticky receptacles, like bees, basically it sticks to them, and they go and they transfer it that way. I don't know. These guys are from MIT. I don't know. They're figuring that stuff out. I don't know.
I have to say, I have mixed emotions here, but...
I was waiting for this, yes.
Well, no, but the only thing I can say is that, look, we need to increase the bee population.
Yes. Right.
If you enjoy eating, you need bees.
Yes, and I agree with you. If we think that we're going to rely on something like this, well, forget about it. You need real bees. But I think for special instances, and they mentioned some of those, this would be a good addition. Yeah. But the bottom line is we need healthy bee populations. You're right.
Amen.
Yep.
All right, Habakkuk.
Yeah.
Okay. Chapter 2, verse 14, for the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. Mm-hmm. That's a prophecy. Okay? And it's happening. By the way, America is no longer in Christian decline. There's a revival going on. It's underground, and it's among young people.
I love it.
Hallelujah.
Yes, indeed.
I'm holding the many prayer requests that arrive here at theDove. We're grateful that you include us with your prayer needs. As a staff, know that we join you and pray over your requests for God's help. Have a prayer need? Let us know by going to thedove.us.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. No. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in, we weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn you something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford.
A ministry moment on theDove.
If you are tired, that means I get fed up. I am tired of living the way I'm living. If you're tired from carrying heavy loads, If you're not tired of trying to solve all the problems by yourself, Jesus can't help you. So let me ask you, are you tired? Are you tired of running on empty? Are you fed up with the emptiness that you've been feeling in your life? And are you willing to do something about it? As I said, we don't change until we feel the heat. You have to come some point in your life where you go, I have had enough. I refuse to live this way any longer.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
The Dove TV,
encouraging and informative,
with mornings on the Dove. Hey, good morning, good morning. Welcome to, let's see, live Wednesday mornings right here with Jerry Bilden. Yes, sir. And I'm here to interpret everything he says.
Insider trading with Jerry.
Yes, sir. Insider trading. You know, for the right amount, he'll give you the tip.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. Nice to believe we're in the middle of the week. Woke up this morning and the smell of rain.
It was wonderful. Yeah.
I would say somewhere around 3:30, 4 o'clock, it started raining, at least in our immediate area. You didn't have it out where you were.
No, we had something else happen out of my place. We had a lot of... No, skunk.
Oh, skunk.
We had a skunk alert last night. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, maybe it was about that time, all of a sudden the dog started going, rah, 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 rah. It's like, and woke us up. Ooh. And then all of a sudden, through the open, nice, breezing, wafting window, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, honey, it's time to close up.
Yeah, make sure your dogs don't tangle with one of them.
Well, in the middle of the night, there's not much you can do. You just go, oh, no. But anyway, we don't have any skunks, nesting near our house, that's for sure.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, good morning to you. Yes, we had a little rain for about an hour. Mm-hmm. It dampened things down.
Oh, that's what we were talking about.
Went from rain to skunks.
Sorry, man.
That's okay. I get it. I totally get it. Good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. We'll have that for you. We'll give you a fire update, so there are some fires around. And it's still going to be on the warm to hot side for a couple more days, but by the weekend we could see another significant change. We'll talk about that.
Could we have rain coming again?
It's possibility, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, guess what? It's U.S. Bowling League Day. When's the last time you went bowling?
1904.
What was your score? Maybe 190.
I don't know if it was did I bowl or do I do a fashion show with my bowling shirt?
Oh, I would like to see that. Bowling shirts, that's a whole different fashion statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who was the world famous Marshall Holman?
Marshall, yeah, Medfordite, yes.
Medford guy.
Yes.
Nice guy.
Yeah,
he's in the Bowling
Hall of Fame.
Yo, Marshall. I haven't seen him around lately.
We used to see bowling like on Wide World of Sports and stuff like that.
Oh, he did.
Remember
He'd come out here to the lanes and he'd show off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a champ.
Yeah, well, there you go. So if you're a bowler, and even if you're not, today is Bowling League Day, and I'm assuming that there are still bowling leagues, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Go and enjoy. It's also one thing to eat. National Welsh Rarebit Day. So, what is a rarebit? Well, the cheesy toast. It's a cheesy toast. Ooh. And it was originally called rabbit in a tongue-in-cheek way in the Welsh language because there is no rabbit in the meal. It is similar to mock turtle soup having no turtle in it. And Welsh rarebit does not contain rabbit. Instead, this dish is made with toast that has hot cheese poured over it. And you might think fondue. But Welsh rarebit more commonly uses wheat bread and cheddar cheese. A typical European fondue would start with Swiss cheeses. So as with any dish, there are variations of Welsh rarebit. Some other recipes call for cayenne pepper, mustard, Worcestershire, or paprika. And if you top the cheese with a poached egg, the dish becomes a golden buck. If you add bacon to that, some call it a Yorkshire buck. And I would take that in a heartbeat. Bacon and
cheese, tomato, hot sauce.
Oh my goodness!
And an egg. It's got your name all over it.
What could be possibly wrong with this? So
leave the tomato off.
They, leave the tomato. Yeah, you don't like tomatoes, do you? All right, so leave the tomato. Have it your way.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, well.
That's a good slogan for a drive-through.
Yeah, but, hey, somebody should have done that. And then they say, where's the beef?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we've all had this instance where you wake up in the middle of the night, you struggle, you toss, turn, you can't get back to sleep. Sometimes you eventually think, maybe I should just get up and do something. Well, guess what? That used to be kind of the standard way, because before the 1800s, people slept in what they call batches. They didn't sleep straight through the night. Instead, they had what was called the first sleep and then a second sleep. The first lasted for about 4 hours. Then people would wake in the middle of the night, sometimes read, pray, even visit neighbors or do chores. And after a couple hours, they'd head back to bed for their second sleep, waking up in the morning. This is a very rare sleep habit, but I think that for some of us, it might be ingrained in our little, in our clocks. Yeah, so I don't know, because I've had many instances, but I think there's a good way to counter that. Wake up every day to go to work at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, well, try that. Yeah,
that might change some of that, because I have found that sleep deprivation is a great sleep aid and helps you get to sleep very quickly at night.
Yeah, but then there's people like you that get up 4 times a night for something else.
I hate it. I hate it. Thanks, man. Like what? Well, you know, sometimes you still get an all-nighter.
I know. I won't go there any further. But let me ask you this.
What?
Okay, do you have a TV in your bedroom?
Oh, here we're going on this one. Yes, I do.
All right, take it out.
Yeah, no, we don't watch TV before we go to bed.
Huh?
We don't go to bed with TV.
Okay.
We have a TV in our bedroom, but we don't go to bed.
Yeah, take it out.
Yeah.
You'll sleep better.
Okay. Yeah, it's a funny thing about, there are times where turning the TV on is exactly what it takes to put me to sleep. Like, okay,
no,
there it is.
Read your Bible, it'll do it faster.
Thanks. I'll read through the Bible in 10 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's Sleepless in Medford right here.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, partly sunny skies with daytime highs in the upper 80s for Vancouver, Portland, and McMinnville, and low 90s in Wilsonville, with a light northwest wind and lows tonight in the mid-60s. Moving down the Willamette Valley, partly sunny and near 90 in Salem and Albany, decreasing clouds with highs in the upper 80s in Corvallis and low 90s for Eugene, with a north-northwest wind around 5 miles per hour this afternoon. In central Oregon, partly sunny with a high in the mid-90s for Prineville, decreasing clouds and near 90 in Bend and 88 in Sun River. Sunny in Boise, Idaho with a high near 96 as temperatures start to inch downwards. Widespread haze along the Oregon coast this morning, then sunny in low 70s in Coos Bay, 69 in Port Orford, and upper 50s in Brookings. Early patchy fog in Crescent City, California, then partly sunny in mid-60s. In southern Oregon, sunny with patchy smoke and haze in the Rogue Valley with highs near 100 for Grants Pass and Medford and 97 in Ashland. In the Klamath Basin, sunny with daytime highs in the low 90s. Into northern California, sunny with patchy smoke and a high near 96 in Wairika. Sunny and hot with a high near 100 in Redding, 97 in Chico, and near 95 in Sacramento with a light southwest wind. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then mostly sunny in mid-80s for Santa Rosa, decreasing clouds in near 82 in Napa, gradually becoming sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 70s, and today in San Jose, mostly sunny and 85. A snapshot of your Wednesday weather from Grange Co-op.
Shot of our valley at the south end this morning. A little of everything mixed together, from a little bit of a temperature inversion, which is kind of the haze, smoke, moisture, leftover rain, cloud mix. But that's the color of dry. Be careful.
And we have some great encouragement. Time for Anthony George as he looks to Paul's journey to Jerusalem.
There are ways that he will warn you when he knows there is danger that is coming. Perhaps it is danger he will lead you to face. Perhaps it is danger he wants you to avoid. But God's Spirit is our ultimate guide if we will listen to what he is telling us. But however it is he's speaking to you, this is what I know. God was preparing Paul to get to Jerusalem, and God will prepare us to face our times of difficulty. He will warn us. He will equip us. He will give us wisdom many times that we don't even know we will one day need. But in those moments when we get the wind knocked out of us and we think, dear God, what am I going to do? You need to know God has been building into your life the wisdom that you need in that very moment. How many of you look back and say, I don't know how I got through that time, but I did? I'll tell you how. God gave you what you needed to get through that time because He prepared you. My name's not Agabus, and I'm not a prophet, and I'm not going to pull off anybody's belt, but I got a revelation for you today. Every time you've been shocked, God never was. God has never been surprised. He knows the past, the present, and the future. In fact, He's already in tomorrow, though the day is not dawned. He is already there. And if that's true, and if it's true that He loves you, and He does, you can be assured that He has been giving you and will continue to give you what you need to face those surprises in life that will completely knock you off your feet. He's building it into you right now. That's exactly what He's doing. Do you believe that with all of your heart? A child of God who's walking with God will never be without adequate preparation that God will give you to face what He allows to come into your life. He does not ordain everything that comes into your life or order it to be so, but He allows it if it happens. And therefore, He will prepare you to face it.
Yeah, pretty interesting sermon. It starts with, if you're driving down the road and you see a big orange sign that says bridge out ahead, what do? Okay. And the sign says bridge out, and the Lord's telling you to keep going.
Oh.
So you keep going down the road. Now you're a little bit further down the road, and there's a big orange sign on each side of the road that says bridge out ahead. What do? Do
you slow down?
Or
cautiously?
But the Lord's telling you to keep going.
You got to keep going.
Yeah, well, he uses that to illustrate how Paul ran into that, where everybody's telling him, don't go there, don't go there, don't go there.
Yeah.
Okay, but he still went, okay?
Yeah.
And he went in the light of the prophecy that you will be captured and imprisoned.
Wow.
And he went anyway.
Wow. Yeah.
It was pretty powerful stuff. Anyway, I think he's a great communicator. All right, good morning to you. 11 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at some of the big stories out there today. And, of course, what's going on in crimes throughout the American city has got the big issue. You've got to ask the question. Sounds political. It's not. It's just a common sense question. Why do some people don't want help in fighting crime in their cities? Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago, Baltimore.
Because they hate the person that's sending the help.
Right.
Yes.
So in the meantime, as you know, crime is way down in Washington, D.C., and crime is way up in Chicago, and they don't want anything to do with President Trump's help coming in there. But the president feels impelled to send the National Guard in anyway. And here's basically what he said on Newsmax yesterday concerning that.
Chicago, everybody knows how bad it is. Everybody standing there knows. We know. You don't have to be doing any studies. They should be saying, please come in. We go in, we will solve Chicago within 1 week, maybe less, but within 1 week we will have no crime in Chicago, just like we have no crime in D.C. But, you know, I don't like to go in and do it and then have somebody stand up and say what a great job he's doing on crime. And we don't want the military in our state. We don't want the military. Do you understand? Do you understand that?
Yeah, these governors will say
so I don't know.
There is no emergency
response. We're going to have a little
response.
meeting. I think, you know, I feel like we go in and we do it, like here. To a lesser extent with the mayor, she hasn't been terrible, but she hasn't been, you know, exactly saying, oh, great. She did say last night, I heard her say that, well, we really don't want the military in D.C. Well, that's, you know, not very nice, I guess. That's a little bit of a hit. But she's not as bad as some. We saved Los Angeles, and all we did is get criticized by this idiot that's running the state into the ground, right? Where people are leaving. He should be thanking us, and he should be requesting us to be there. And the governor of Illinois should be. Chicago's a disaster.
Well, look, he's basically saying, why doesn't the governors and the city and the mayors call us in? We'll be glad to come in and help. But on the other hand, he's compelled by his duty of office to make sure citizens are safe. And so it looks like he will deploy the National Guard into Chicago. 54 shootings last weekend, 8 dead. And this is an average weekend. While they're saying crime is going down. How does crime go down with 8 people dead and 54 shots?
Right.
I don't know. So it looks like he's going to go for it.
So are they just playing right into Donald Trump's hands on this?
Well, listen, if you want to look at it on the political side, the answer would be yes. And they're really allowing themselves to be trapped into something that's going to gut their chances in 26.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think if you want to look on that side of the coin, look strictly on the political side of the coin, this is the stupidest thing they could do is reject this. But they're going to do it because it's him.
Yeah, exactly.
Story number 2 is, you'll get more on this coming up a little bit, but yesterday Israel called up 40,000 reservists to go back into service as they circle Gaza City and get ready to take the whole area. And you'll hear that coming up in a little bit from CBN Newswatch. But they asked 40,000 reservists to show up and report for duty yesterday. Now, you got to remember, you made the point earlier, and that is, in Israel, the policy is when you graduate from high school, male and female, you go into the military for 2 years.
Right. So you're living in a country where literally everybody is militarily trained.
Is trained, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, the other story is an interesting one because it's somewhat curious and hypothetical and angry at the same time. And that is one of the squad members, Ilham Omar, and her husband, when they first went into Congress a little while ago, they reported in 2023 that their net worth was around $51,000 and had to do with some ownerships of companies that her husband was a part of. Okay, 1 year later, they pull the reports and they're worth between $6 and $30 million.
That's quite a jump.
What's going on here?
Yeah, where did that come from? And
what's going on here?
Can't they figure out where it comes from?
Well, I think they do. How do you go about this? How do you go about this? Is this coming from NGOs into campaign funds? And you can't take campaign funds and turn it into personal
fund. Yeah.
So there's money laundering going on.
Something, yeah.
So how does this happen? So we'll soon find out. But
we keep.
And by the way, what's the gap between $6 million and $30 million? You're telling me you can't even account for that? 24 million's missing somewhere?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh.
I don't get it.
That's American dollars.
I don't get it. The IRS usually doesn't have problems finding out these sorts of things. Is the IRS going to look at this?
Oh, was it Lois Lerner?
Lois Lerner, yes.
Wasn't she the IRS?
Very good, yeah.
Where is she when you need her? But she would never go after one of her own.
No.
I don't know. But it just shows you that the corruption in our government, and now that it's being exposed, everybody's nervous and the rats are running and there's finger pointing going on and everybody's mad at everybody. But you don't break God's laws. God's laws break you. And God's laws are not just for believers. God's laws are for humanity.
Yeah.
And you're seeing God's laws being broken across the board. And guess what? He's pulling the covers off. You can blame Trump all day long.
Yes.
God's pulling the covers off.
Amen.
So,
Amen. All right.
So anyway, if you buy this one for $25, I'll buy it for $2. We'll be right back.
Giving my life to the only one who makes the moon reflect the sun. Every starry night, that was his design. I'm giving my life to the only son who was and is and yet.
Co-op, where big ideas grow. At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated, pet friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Looking for the perfect RV adventure?
Team Toner's got you covered from homes to homes on wheels.
Discover unbeatable deals only at American RV in Southern Oregon.
Welcome back. Happy Wednesday to you. A little bit, some backyard updating for you quickly. At our special session up in Salem, it's been drug out through the long holiday weekend, and a lot of people got pretty uptight about it. The bottom line is that the governor is proposing this huge tax increase across the board. From gas tax to payroll tax to registration fees, all that, to raise this deficit shortfall for ODOT. And it just is just, you've heard enough from me. I don't need to jump on that horse, even though I ride it. The point being is that it got through the House. It passed through the House. It got over to the Senate, and it should have gone through the Senate yesterday, but they needed this one vote from the senator from Gresham, Democrat, and he was ill and he couldn't show up for the vote, so it got postponed probably until today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But it's expected now to pass through and become law, and the governor will sign it. So what's left? What's left is that the citizens now, and this is where I think the ORP better get their act together and get on with this, is to petition this and get it on the ballot for the citizens as a referendum for the citizens to either give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Yeah.
It's very unpopular. 94% of the people that went out of their way and drove to Salem to give verbal testimony on this bill, 94% said don't do this.
Wow.
And yet the Democrats said, have a nice day. We gave you your 5 minutes of fame. Get out of here. And they passed it anyway. So this is crazy. It's just crazy. Oh, what are we going to do about roads? What are we going to do about safety? Yeah. And you know what? Not much of these things are directly earmarked.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that's another part of the bill that is absolutely ludicrous. Okay? The other thing is that, oh God, well, I better back off. The point being is that it'll probably pass, and we going to have to get 75,000 signatures to get it on the ballot, and hopefully the citizens of the state will turn it down, and then hang this on every Democrat's beak. Guess what? A couple of Republicans who voted for it, hanging on their beak come 26 election cycle.
Really? There were a couple Republicans that voted with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to get it through and get it out.
Okay.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Now, I dealt with that when I was chairman. It's hard to believe that you pass a platform that says one thing and you allow people to be part of, and give them voice to speak against it.
Yeah.
Life issue being one of the big ones.
Right, yes.
Anyway, so much for that, but we'll keep you posted on it because it hasn't gone away. It's a nightmare that keeps reoccurring. You talk about getting up 4 times during the night. This will get you up, okay?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of a fire update. We have fires all around us. The Dillon Fire, which is just to the south of us, south of Highway 96, south of Happy Camp, is running at 7,700 acres, about 7% contained. The Peak Fire, which is down around Dunsmuir, is 505 acres, 0 containment. You can get up to the Blue Fire, which is just south of our border here, south of a place called Syed Valley, 1,631 acres, zero containment. The Flat Fire, which is up around Redmond and Sisters area, 23,346 acres, 81% contained. Then the other big one just north of us is the Immigrant Fire, 26,134 acres, zero containment. So we have these fires all around us. Out back here this morning, we have 2 DC-10s. We have quite a few other aircraft sitting on the field here. They were flying in all directions yesterday. They were expecting significant lightning strikes last night. I don't think it happened at the level that they anticipated, which is good news. We did get some rain out of it. But looking at it this morning, doesn't appear that we got any new fires out of it. Thank the good Lord for that. So we'll keep you posted.
Well, the good news is that Representative Jerry Nadler has decided, I should say Democrat Jerry Nadler, has decided to hang it up. He's not running for re-election. The bad news is the same can't be said for Chuck Schumer. Unfortunately, he's back in the news because on Newsmax's Wake Up America, Kansas Senator Roger Marshall discussed the looming budget showdown in Washington and the need to counteract Senator Chuck Schumer's delay tactics.
Look, Mark, we'll keep the government open one way or the other, but this is all about the Schumer shutdown. Senate Republicans, we've done our job. Compliments to the chairwoman, Senator Susan Collins, up there running the Appropriations Committee. As Allison mentioned, there's 12 buckets we have to get to fund the government. The Senate Finance Committee has 8 of those completely done, super majorities, but Chuck Schumer won't let us bring those to the floor for a vote. He won't get us any votes. This is all about Chuck Schumer's obsession with President Trump. What the Democrats do to delay the game is we've never done anything like what they're doing right now with some of these nominations. By now, hundreds of these folks should have been confirmed through unanimous consent, a quick process. So we would never use it the way the Democrats have weaponized the process. And again, I think that 78 million people want us to get those nominations confirmed so President Trump can enact his agenda.
Well, we'll see what happens. This always happens when you get up to the budget time and continuing resolutions. It's a constant. I think people are sick of it.
Yes.
And we'll just have to play it out. But most of the Democrats now that are yelling and screaming are just looking for positions in the party because they're not governing. They're just running for positions.
Right. Well, and there's a power vacuum right now in the Democrat Party, and a lot of people are trying to rush into that vacuum, including that guy that Donald Trump mentioned from the Oval Office.
Well, you got
the guy in California.
You got. You got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's take a look at Wall Street. Let's see how Jerry's inside trading's doing here this morning.
Yeah.
Thank you, Preston, with Smart Lawn. He's smart. You go to him. The Dow's still off 184 points. The Nasdaq turned around, went back the other way, 198 points up. And the S&P is up about 21 1/3. So kind of mixed numbers that they're ringing the bell. That could be anything. Who knows? Could be oil prices. Taking a look at this. Gold, 3,600. That's an all-time high.
Wow.
Silver's at 41.88, and crude oil's down about a penny. $67.38 a barrel. There you go. All right, so that's kind of what's going on back there. We're making fun of inside trading because, you know, it was interesting when Nancy Pelosi was challenged on this the other day. She was on one of the big talk shows.
Yeah.
And she almost got up and walked off the set. I didn't agree to come here and talk about that.
Right. Yes.
We didn't agree. Well, what about that? Well, we didn't agree to talk about that.
Right, right. So I'm here to talk about this. So how dare you question me about that? And oh, by the way, my husband does all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very successfully.
And I'm sure they never talk about it.
No. You know, look, I think we're in a time now where things are just being exposed at a level that we all hope it wasn't that way, but we suspected it might be.
Right.
And then you pull the covers off and it's actually worse than we thought.
Exactly.
And in fact, it's so well connived, you kind of wonder going, how in the world did they get to this point?
Right, yeah.
And now that the covers are being pulled off, I think a lot of people are going, I am not protected. What am I going to do? They're lowering up.
Right.
But on the citizen side of things, just the state of Florida yesterday, 1.3 million people moved over to the Republican Party.
That's stunning.
Just in the state of Florida.
Wow.
Okay, so pretty significant.
Yeah, well, and you look at these things, like the Ilhan Omars and the Nancy Pelosi's. No wonder these people fight tooth and nail to avoid term limits.
Yeah,
because once they're in there, man, they've got the system working for themselves. You go from 51,000 net worth to somewhere between 6 and 30 million.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself, how did that happen?
Yeah.
But I think that, of all the things that we're uncovering, what gets to me the most?
What?
Is how corrupted the judiciary became.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen overnight.
Right.
It happened over a period of decades, and by people knowing about it but not doing anything about it. It was kind of like, well, we're accepting bad as the norm.
Right.
But when you pull this covers back and you see lawfare being what it is, and you see these rogue judges doing what they do, even though they've been given decisions by the Supreme Court not to do what they're doing, and they do it anyway, and there is no consequence, we are in a lawless state.
Yeah.
And that's the most, to me, it's one of the most fragile parts of all the things that we're fighting out there, is that our legal system has been compromised at a level we never thought would be the case.
Yeah, Lady Justice is not blind. She is peeking out from under that little
but remember this, all justice is based upon the Ten Commandments.
Amen. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? And you break one, you break them all, according to God. There aren't degrees of sin. Sin is sin.
All right.
And so the only thing I can say is that, what's done in dark will be brought to the light. Scripture's pretty clear about that. And what God has set in motion, he doesn't change his mind. So there is a consequence for breaking the law. And it's just a matter of time. The lawbreakers do get caught and they do get exposed. It's just a matter of time.
All right.
All right, 1:30 on a beautiful Wednesday morning with that smell of rain. It's kind of like when water hits dirt and turns to dust. It smells good.
It does.
We'll be right back.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
At Kelly's Automotive Service,
being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us
is at the core of our business.
We believe what we do matters.
Every interaction, every transaction is another opportunity
to bring Christ's values into the marketplace.
If you're a technician who wants to be part of something bigger,
or just looking for a new shop to bring your vehicle,
we would love to meet you.
We're Kelly's Automotive Service,
where we service your vehicle,
but take care of you.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
For some people, the single greatest discouraging factor in their life is their perceived lack of forward movement in God. There are many Christians that feel stagnant, and they're generally self-condemned. They don't need the devil to condemn them, they're self-condemned. Let me assure you, my friend, the Lord is not through with you. He is working in you. Philippians 1:6 says, being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. He's begun the work. He'll carry it on until the day of Christ's return. He's not going to give up on you. He's not going to cast you aside. Psalm 138 and verse 8 says, the Lord will perfect that which concerns me.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
Cliff Connectley travels across America to give an answer to questions, doubts, and challenges concerning faith.
So one of the reasons I believe that God exists.
Join him for Give Me an Answer, weekdays on the Dove TV.
Welcome back. Happy Wednesday to you. Beautiful morning out there. It's a little bit of humid.
It is a little bit, yeah.
It's a little humid out there from the rain, but we welcome that. It's still warm over the next several days. Then it kind of backs down, and we could see some rain late this coming weekend, early next week.
That would be nice, yeah.
Yeah, we need it for some of these fires out there. All right, we mentioned earlier that 40,000 reservists have been called up in Israel to report to duty. So let's check in with CBN Newswatch and get caught up.
This is CBN News Watch.
We begin, though, in Israel, where the military operation in the last Hamas stronghold in Gaza City has begun, as the leader of the Israeli forces talks of, quote, decisive victory. And as Israel launches a new surveillance satellite to enable it to keep an eye on even more of the Middle East. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl brings us the latest from Jerusalem.
Israel officially launched its ground operation in Gaza City on Tuesday after a massive call-up of reservists. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu commended the reservists and noted Israel's victories in the war against Iran's proxies, but emphasized that Hamas must be defeated.
We're working to defeat Hamas, but along the way, we've worked wonders together because we broke the Iranian axis, both in Gaza, in Lebanon with Hezbollah, and with the Assad regime that collapsed. Also with Iran itself that posed existential threats to us, and we removed them together. And now also with the Houthis. But what began in Gaza must end in Gaza.
Some 33,000 reservists reported for duty and are gearing up for their entry into Gaza. Media reports said several thousand did not show up, but will report, mostly citing strain on families and businesses for their delay. IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir thanked the reservists and said Israel will not end the war until the enemy is defeated.
We have already begun the ground operation in Gaza. Make no mistake, we are already entering places we have never entered before and operating there with courage, strength, valor, and an extraordinary spirit. I want to tell you that nowhere does the IDF offer anything less than decisive victory.
On the international front, Belgium says it will recognize a Palestinian state at this month's UN General Assembly, but only if Hamas returns all 48 Israeli hostages and is removed from power in Gaza. In the meantime, Belgium plans to impose sanctions on Israel. This morning, Israel intercepted a Houthi missile launched days after an IDF strike eliminated most of the Houthi leadership. Overnight, Israel's Ministry of Defense successfully launched the Ophek-19 surveillance satellite, considered a significant leap forward in Israel's defense capabilities in space. Its space program is credited with helping Israel achieve success in the war against Iran and throughout the region.
With Ophek-19's groundbreaking technology, will provide Israel with new operational capability and enable us to maintain our operational superiority in space. The Sword of Iron word and Operational Rising Lion clearly emphasize the strategic importance of the capability we developed and launched into space, confronting warfare across 7 active arenas simultaneously.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Yeah, some pretty incredible technology there. Well, our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell is with us now from Jerusalem. Chris, both Netanyahu and the IDF chief sound very determined to finish off Gaza, but could this become a long, protracted guerrilla war in the city?
Well, I really don't think so, George, and here's why. The IDF has really learned a lot in the nearly 2 years of fighting Hamas. They want to minimize IDF casualties. They also want to minimize civilian casualties. What they're going to do, slow but methodical, they're going to use their use of munitions to destroy the Hamas infrastructure, which is formidable, a labyrinth of tunnels and booby-trapped buildings. But they understand as well there's a political clock that is ticking, perhaps with the White House wanting to get the war in Gaza over as soon as possible. Also, the international clock is ticking, as Julie alluded to in that report. They do want to finish the job thoroughly, but as soon as possible. Giving all these criteria, I really do believe it won't be too long based on what they've learned, what they need to do, and how they've learned those lessons over nearly 2 years, George.
Yeah, Chris, real quickly follow up. What comes next? If it's going to be a swift operation, what comes next?
The big question for the last almost 2 years has been what's going to happen after the war? Who's going to take over? Is the IDF going to have security control? Is there going to be some sort of civilian administration? Is that going to be from the UAE or Saudi Arabia? Going to have 2 million Gazans. Are they going to be allowed to stay? Are they going to go to other countries? That was alluded to in the report by Trump, what they want to have post-war. They want to make a resort and a sort of a industrial manufacturing and AI center. We'll see it. But first of all, Gaza City's got to be defeated, and that's the next goal for the IDF and the government.
All right. They're slowly just kind of getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
Yeah.
I think they know where the hostages are.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, but the problem is, do they move them?
Yeah.
And how much of the tunnel system is still active? We'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's check out the weather, because it's pretty nice out there with a guy that, interesting.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, partly sunny skies with daytime highs in the upper 80s for Vancouver, Portland, and McMinnville, and low 90s in Wilsonville, with a light northwest wind and lows tonight in the mid-60s. Moving down the Willamette Valley, partly sunny and near 90 in Salem and Albany, decreasing clouds with highs in the upper 80s in Corvallis and low 90s for Eugene, with a north-northwest wind around 5 miles per hour this afternoon. In central Oregon, partly sunny with a high in the mid-90s for Prineville, decreasing clouds in near 90 in Bend and 88 in Sun River. Sunny in Boise, Idaho with a high near 96 as temperatures start to inch downwards. Widespread haze along the Oregon coast this morning, then sunny in low 70s in Coos Bay, 69 in Port Orford, and upper 50s in Brookings. Early patchy fog in Crescent City, California, then partly sunny in mid-60s. In southern Oregon, sunny with patchy smoke and haze in the Rogue Valley with highs near 100 for Grants Pass and Medford and 97 in Ashland. In the Klamath Basin, sunny with daytime highs in the low 90s. Into northern California, sunny with patchy smoke and a high near 96 in Wairika. Sunny and hot with a high near 100 in Redding, 97 in Chico, and near 95 in Sacramento with a light southwest wind. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then mostly sunny in mid-80s for Santa Rosa, decreasing clouds in near 82 in Napa, gradually becoming sunny in San Francisco with a high in the low 70s, and today in San Jose, mostly sunny and 85. A snapshot of your Wednesday weather from Grange Co-op.
And a beautiful shot of our valley, and kind of, a mixed bag out there. We have some clouds left over from the rain this morning that did trap in kind of a humid feel to it out there, a little humidity, and some smoke mixed in with it, so be careful.
All right. Well, imagine you live in a country where you drive on the left-hand side of the road, and then the government says on September 3rd, you're all going to switch, and you're going to drive on the right side of the road. And that's exactly what happened in Sweden on this day in history.
On September 3, 1967, Sweden carried out one of the most daring traffic experiments in history, Dagen H, or H-Day. Overnight, the entire country switched from driving on the left-hand side of the road to the right. It was an unpopular move, but a couple of the arguments for the change were all of Sweden's immediate neighbors drove on the right, including Norway and Finland, with which Sweden has land borders and then problems at border crossings. And most Swedes drove left-hand drive vehicles. This led to many head-on collisions when passing on narrow two-lane highways, which were common in Sweden because of its low population density and traffic levels. So at exactly 5 a.m., traffic everywhere in Sweden came to a halt. Cars carefully crossed over the opposite lane, guided by thousands of road workers and police. Even buses had been modified, doors moved from the left to the right. Many feared chaos, but remarkably, the change went surprisingly smoothly. Accidents actually dropped in the first year because drivers were so cautious. Of course, there were moments of confusion. Parking lots, roundabouts, and intersections proved tricky, and some drivers instinctively drifted back to the left. Still, Dagen H is remembered as a massive logistical success, proof that an entire nation really can change lanes together.
And it was called a logistical success, but think of the logistical nightmare. All the signs have to go to the other side of the road. They had to change literally thousands of signs. They had to repaint the pavement because you have directionals going on the pavement. All this had to be done before that 5 a.m. crossover. Wow. And so they had years in preparation, but like was reported, the accident rate went down because everybody was so careful until they got used to it. and then they quit being so careful, and accident rates went back up to their normal level. So there you go, people.
Well, that's why Oregon can't go get off the daylight savings time by itself.
You got border issues.
Yeah, so we'd have to have California and Washington join.
Yeah.
So let's see what. Well, that's interesting. Can you imagine the big switch?
Not at all.
All right. Well, join the American Space Force, which is a new branch of our military, and hop on a rocket and go to the moon or go to Mars.
Okay.
Actually, you can hop on a rocket and go to Huntsville, Alabama. What? That's what happened yesterday. Here's President Trump.
And I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama, we love Alabama. I only won it by about 47 points. I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it, Huntsville in particular. So congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs, and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, and that's billions, because it can't be millions, it's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, poor Colorado lost a good one.
Yes, they did. And I was reading that Donald Trump had initially intended this to go to Alabama, but Joe Biden kept it in Colorado. Mm-hmm. You don't think there was any politicking going on in this, too, because this administration's been a little bit at odds with Colorado.
No, this was a sheer just gentleman's agreement.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, there was no politics involved in that. No, you just, you pick up the Space Force. You move it from a blue state to a red state. Nah, it's fine. No problem.
Well, Huntsville, Alabama, forever be known as Rocket City.
Okay, we're going to rocket over to our break room. We'll be right back.
In the morning and night, in the good, in the hurt, in the places I hide. When I rise, when I fall, you'll be
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
21,000 interviews, that's a big milestone. It's huge. My first adventure into anything that would have been political was the late Senator Mark Hatfield, and he said, I'm available for an interview. And so I ran in the studio and I interrupted the programming and I flipped the switch and went on live on the air with him. We had an interesting exchange. And that was kind of my first political interview of anybody that was of notoriety.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
How can Christian parents train their kids to know and follow God's design for sexuality in a culture that increasingly rejects it?
Join us as we uncover the damaging misinformation being fed to your children on sexuality and gender identity, and learn effective strategies for grounding them in biblical truth with confidence and grace.
Join me for the John Ankerberg Show weekdays at 4 o'clock right here on the Dove TV. It'll be encouraging and informative.
Okay. Well, yesterday, the second time I've had Christina Bobb on. Christina Bobb is an attorney. She worked at the RNC. She was at Mar-a-Lago during the raid. She was working for President Trump. She worked on his first campaign, re-election campaign. And because she's previously part of the Trump campaign, she herself has been charged with certain things. Even though the charges have been dropped, she still has to fight for complete clearance of her name and everything. It's really, it's all has to do with lawfare.
Right.
And so I asked her, I said, all right, lawfare being what it is, do you still think it's being used, and is it here to stay? And here's what she had to say.
I would say the civil side has increased more, because it used to be, and the left is better at it. I think we all just need to be honest. The left is better at this type of tactics. They used to be using the criminal justice system a lot more, against us over the last 4 years. They can't do that federally anymore because President Trump is in control of it. So they're now using the civil system. That's why we're seeing all of these suits against the executive orders that are coming out. Everything that President Trump is trying to do, there's a lawsuit, there's a lawsuit, there's a lawsuit. And so I think they're using the civil system to a greater degree than we've seen in the past, simply because it's the only avenue they have left. President Trump's administration is releasing a lot of information. I know that they're still doing their own investigation and still looking for things. But that's the question, is who is in control of the federal government? The American people are supposed to be in control, and we're supposed to be the ones electing our leaders who implement the policies that we want. But it sure looks like maybe the intelligence community is actually running the show, and the American people are not actually in control. So that all still needs to come out.
Okay, she brings up some very interesting points, from federal to civil.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
And during the Biden administration, it was all federal lawfare.
Right.
Can you say the raid on Mar-a-Lago?
Absolutely, through the DOJ.
All that stuff.
Yep.
Okay. So the administration change, and you have a change within the agencies, especially the DOJ and the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
And now, so what's left are these district courts and judges, and they're going at it from a civil lawfare point of view. It goes to something you and I talked about last hour, and that is, of all the things going on in our country, I think one of the greatest losses is the integrity of our judicial system.
Absolutely, yes.
And you got to ask yourself, what's justice and what's fair, and can it be heard? I mean, the court systems, all court systems, right here in our own county, the court system is overwhelmed with stuff. And so I don't know, but when you have corrupt judges that are litigating based upon their biases, where does that lead?
Yeah, well, it leads to where we are, because I think a lot of us are surprised. Obviously, we saw the Department of Justice, DOJ, was used by the Biden administration in lawfare, and then when they lost that, as was pointed out here, going to the civil courts, I think we're surprised at how many of these judges are in place, these activist judges who are now involved in trying to stop the agenda of the current administration. And I think a lot of people scratch their head and they wonder, how can we get around this? How did this happen? And then we look at the blocking that's going on by Democrats in Congress to block Trump appointments. Makes sense why they're doing it.
Yeah, and I asked her about that, and she says, look, these are just, what would you call planted hardcore Republicans, that are opposing the president's nomination.
Well, and again, too, the left is able to, seemingly able to judge shop when they file a lawsuit. They file a lawsuit in a district that may not even be related to what the issue is at hand, but they have a judge they know will be sympathetic to their cause, and that's where they file.
Okay, so that brings up the point. The point is, how corrupt has it become?
Oh, terrible.
When you can judge shop.
Right.
Okay, and so then we found an ambiguity within our system, and that's called these district courts, where a district judge can file an injunction on the president on a national level, outside of their district.
Yes.
So that has to be taken up by Congress, and the limits have to be put back on these district courts.
Right.
Then the Supreme Court weighs in and says to these district judges, you can't do this.
Right.
Guess what? They thumb their nose at the Supreme Court, and they're doing it anyway. Question, what's the consequences of going against the Supreme Court?
Right.
There doesn't seem to be anything.
So far, it doesn't seem to be,
So what do you do with this? So we're in a lawless state. And with all due respect, I think for the most part, this has been an undercurrent going on with the corruption, primarily on the left, but somewhat complicit by the right by allowing it to happen. And one of the pillars of our culture, one of the pillars of our country, the judicial system, has been damaged. And the question is, can it be restored where people will respect it? Look what happened up at Salem.
Yes, exactly.
94% of the people said don't do this.
Yes.
And the Democrats told them where to put it.
And some Republicans are going along with it. Yeah.
And you got to go, okay, I thought this was called public service.
Yeah.
It's not. It's agenda driven.
Yes.
And the question is, what agenda have you subscribed to?
Why do Democrats seem to fight for their agenda more than Republicans?
That's a great question. I guess there's some plastic answers to it. I'll tell you what I think it is.
What?
It sounds crazy, okay? To the Republicans, it has to do with principle and somewhat moral boundaries. The Democrats, it's a religion.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yes.
And you say, well, what are you doing here? Think about it.
Yes.
They're committed to their point of view and their philosophy as a religion.
Right.
As much as you and I would be committed to Christ.
Yes. Amen.
And it's hard for us to process that in our brain, but it's that kind of a emotional commitment to what's going on here.
Yep.
They bought the lie that government is bigger than God and smarter than God.
You hit it. Absolutely.
So much for that.
All right. Well, we've talked a lot about bees and pollinators.
Send an email to him.
P. Atkinson at theDove.us.
No. It's JB at Crazyville.
Are you ready for Robo Bees?
Yeah.
Take a look at this.
In 2021, MIT researchers tried to mimic the flight of bees, but their first robot ended up with 8 wings and 4 bodies, a design that proved a little inefficient. Now they've built a sleeker robotic bee much closer to nature's blueprint. This new model with just 4 wings can fly for 17 minutes, 100 times more efficient than before, and is even capable of aerial flips. The breakthrough, published in Science Robotics, could one day help pollinate crops in places where bees struggle, like vertical indoor farms or even in hazardous environments like space or radiation zones. MIT professor Kevin Chen says the design marks the longest flight time yet achieved in the field, bringing robotic pollinators closer to real-world use. And with their tiny mechanical muscles, these robo-bees could soon give nature's pollinators a helping hand.
Robo-bees. Okay, robo-bees. I want one.
Yeah, me too.
All right, we'll be right back.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
a ministry moment on the Dove.
And are you willing to say yes to the claims of Christ, that he is the Son of God, and that you want him to come into your heart and forgive your sins, and you want to know it? Oh, I know. Many of you have been baptized and confirmed. Most of you perhaps are members of some church, or you're identified with a church, or maybe you go to church 2 or 3 times a year. I don't know whether you do or not, but I'm sure a lot of you do. But you're not sure. You couldn't stand here tonight and say, I know my sins are forgiven. I know I'm going to heaven. God is willing to forgive all your past tonight because of the cross. God is willing to say, I forgive you because he loves you. And God is interested in you as though you were the only person in the whole world. And you can receive him tonight.
In doing 21,000 interviews, you cover multiple topics. Alan Dershowitz, George W. Bush, Rush Limbaugh, David Limbaugh, Franklin Graham, Dr. David Jeremiah, Dr. Dobson, Dr. Alveda King, Sean Hannity, Ronald Reagan. Been quite a ride over these 42 plus years. 21,000 interviews, that's a big milestone. It's huge.
He said, this is a problem and we may have waited too long.
I heard the words very clearly, if you're having a bleed and you want to stop the bleeding, why aren't you using the word of God to stop this bleeding?
He woke up and Ezekiel 16:6 was in his mind. He didn't know what the scripture said. And so I opened up the Bible and it says, yea, when I saw you in your blood, live.
Thursday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV. Focus Today, focusing on issues affecting you. Join Perry Atkinson weekdays only on the Dove TV.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and I've been looking forward for a long time because it's been way too long since we've had our friend Eric Stakelback with us. He's the host of the Stakelback Tonight on the TBN network and Watchman Newscast on his YouTube channel. And there's a little bit of a picture of that landing page as well. You can go to ericstakelback.com is his website, and there's a picture of that landing page. With a name like Stakelback, you'd think he would be a linebacker for the TBN football team. But no, he's just a cool dude, and it's good to see you, friend. How are you?
Very great to be back with you. You know, I should have played football. I played basketball. I should have played football instead. I might have had a better athletic career.
Hey, man, how are you? Good to see you. It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's great to see you, number one. Number two, I'm still kind of upside down. I just returned from Israel, a week in Israel, which I know we'll talk about. So all good. Had a great week there and good things happening.
Great. So you're at the TBN Center there in Texas?
Yeah, right in between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Oh, good for you. Well, a lot going on. Well, you did go to Israel. And what was some of the takeaway from your trip?
I think number one, the resilience of the people of Israel. Perry, it's hard to believe it's been almost 2 years since the October 7th massacre, but the people of Israel, the unity I've seen, number one. Number two, that resilience. We're going to finish the job. We're going to crush Hamas, which is a modern-day Nazi death cult. We cannot allow Hamas to remain in power in Gaza. We're going to finish that job, and we know that the world is gnashing its teeth about it. There's relentless international pressure on Israel, but the Israelis are saying, we're going to do what we need to do for our very survival. So that resilience, that unity was just extraordinary for me to see. And Perry, really, I talked to Israelis from all walks of life. I talked to former hostages, people who were held by Hamas, but it really starts from the top. Prime Minister Netanyahu, I interviewed him for close to an hour in Jerusalem at the Prime Minister's office, and he was very steadfast in his message. We're going to finish the job. We're going to finish dismantling this Iranian-led axis, and he also stressed his great relationship with President Trump in that regard. So very eye-opening week in Israel for sure.
So, Eric, did you sense among the people of Israel They not only want to finish the job, but that could mean the sacrifice of the hostages. Have they crossed that line in their mind?
Well, I don't think they want to. Absolutely, they don't want to see the hostages dead for sure. They're adamant, and this war would have been over in a week, Perry, if not for the hostages, if not for Israel's efforts to preserve the lives of the hostages. Are they across the line where they're saying, whatever happens, happens, we just got to win this thing? I don't think so.
Okay.
I think there's still such tremendous pressure in Israel to bring the hostages home that Israel's going to try everything in its power to do both. And it's a tall order, let's be honest, to bring the hostages home and to crush Hamas, because obviously if Hamas feels the walls closing in and the IDF at the gates, God forbid, they may kill the hostages. And Israel knows that. Israel's leaders know that very well. So it's a very delicate balance. And that's why this has dragged on for close to 2 years, strictly because Hamas holds hostages and Israel holds every life sacred.
Do they know how many of the 50 are alive?
Less than 20. Some say 20. President Trump said last week probably less than 20. The remains of some 30 hostages, and Israel brings even the remains home of people who are dead. They want to give them a proper burial according to Jewish tradition. But in terms of live hostages, probably less than 20. And Perry, everyone probably saw about 2 weeks ago that horrific footage of Israeli hostages in Hamas tunnels, emaciated. It looked like scenes out of Auschwitz. So needless to say, time is of the essence.
Yesterday, they called up 40,000 reservists, so that tells me they're really starting to put the squeeze on.
For sure. And I think end game is now in terms of Gaza City, where it's likely that a good amount of the hostages are being held. And that's Hamas's power base, obviously. So I think these are the final stages for sure. And I would think in the next few months, unless there's a deal and Hamas, which I highly doubt, comes to its senses and has the epiphany, releases the hostages and leaves Gaza. Unless that happens, I think Israel is going to go into Gaza City and finish the job. The problem right now is Israel's trying to get the civilians in Gaza City to evacuate, and they're willing to evacuate, but Hamas is preventing them from evacuating because Hamas wants to use, as it always does, Gazan civilians as human shields. This is what Israel is dealing with, a brutal, vicious terror organization that uses men, women, children, the elderly, innocent civilians as human shields. It's sick and it's evil, and it must be crushed.
Okay, what was your takeaway from meeting with the Prime Minister and the Ambassador?
I think number one with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and for me as an American, Perry, this was reassuring. He talked a lot about his great relationship with President Trump and the synergy and the cooperation between the United States and Israel. You think, of course, of the 12-day war back in June when President Trump teamed up with Israel to destroy Iran's nuclear weapons facilities. That was massive. It's really a historic partnership, Perry, and to hear Prime Minister Netanyahu talk about it in such glowing terms, saying, hey, the relationship between Israel and the U.S. has never been stronger than it is right now. I really see them as two Churchillian figures, two modern-day Winston Churchills, Trump and Netanyahu working together. I think the closest recent parallel, Perry, would be the 1980s. You think of Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, the British Prime Minister, and Pope John Paul II, that trio working together to eventually bring down the Soviet empire. Well, Bibi and Trump are in the process of bringing down the Iranian terror empire. So people can't underestimate. These are very historic times. So Bibi talked a lot about that. With Ambassador Huckabee, much along the same lines. Obviously, he's the U.S. ambassador to Israel. And he also spoke from a spiritual standpoint, Perry. Look, Mike Huckabee is a born-again follower of Jesus. He's an evangelical Christian. To be in that pivotal position as America's point man in Israel, he's our top diplomat in Israel right now during these historic times. It's God ordained. I mean, he's in that position, I believe, for such a time as this, is Mike Huckabee. And he's in the middle of it. He's in the mix. He's in all the big meetings as these momentous things are happening in the Middle East, whether it's a 12-day war or the prospect for peace. I mean, the Abraham Accords are very much back on the table. Could we see peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia prophetic times for sure, and all of this is now on the table.
Fascinating. As you well know back here, the misconceptions of the reports for Americans and what we're seeing versus what's really happening. How would you judge what's happening with the American press covering what really is happening over there?
It's a disgrace, and I don't say that lightly. Number one, they are swallowing hook, line, and sinker is the American mainstream media, the Hamas narrative. They consistently, Perry, quote statistics from the Gaza Ministry of Health. Well, guess what? The Gaza Ministry of Health is Hamas. It's run by Hamas. So the mainstream media in America is regurgitating Hamas statistics and information. Forgive me if I'm a bit skeptical of Hamas's numbers and statistics. That's number one. Number two, I was on the Gaza border just last week, Perry, a few days ago, and I toured the ravaged Israeli communities in southern Israel that were literally burned to the ground, where women, children, babies were butchered, burned, and beheaded by Hamas. I toured those communities. I spent a lot of time on the border with Gaza, and I can tell you there are trucks of aid with tons of aid lined up, ready to enter. Number one, the UN, surprise, surprise, is not helping to facilitate that. They're a bottleneck in terms of aid getting to the people in Gaza. And number two, the ultimate bottleneck is Hamas. This is not brain surgery. Hamas is taking the aid. They're hoarding it for themselves, and they will sell it to the people of Gaza at an exorbitant price. So the only people starving in Gaza, number one, are the Israeli hostages, as we've seen, at the hands of Hamas. And number two, if there's a hunger issue in Gaza, it's due solely to Hamas, because Israel has delivered countless tons of aid over the past 2 years. And by the way, one last thing, Perry, this is unprecedented in the annals of warfare, to my mind, that a nation is actually feeding the enemy population. Hamas attacked Israel from Gaza with, I'm sad to say, the full-throated support of a good majority of Gazan civilians. And now Israel is feeding those same people who are sworn to its destruction. It's really unheard of, but Israel's doing it.
Is any of the aid, Eric, getting through?
Some is, for sure. There's a great organization, Perry, called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. It's headed up by a great Christian man named Johnny Moore, a good friend of mine. So a lot of aid is getting through, thank God. Thanks to the great work of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is supported by the Trump administration. But much more could get through if not for, again, the UN being a bottleneck. And number two, Hamas. I mean, Hamas at gunpoint commandeering and hijacking the aid from the people. Mm-hmm. So it's a very sad situation that's really not going to change until, again, Hamas is out. I mean, completely out, done, crushed. Think of World War II. Think of in the wake of the Allies' victory, Perry, the Allies did not leave the Nazis in power or any remnant of the Nazi death machine as a visible presence in the new German government. And that's Israel's philosophy with Hamas. This is a modern-day Nazi-like death cult that must be completely destroyed, and there must be a reprogramming of whoever is left in Gaza if people don't just leave. And President Trump's plan, I think, is genius. Evacuate the place. It's hell on earth, and build it back up. But we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. But first things first, not to be a broken record, you can't accomplish anything at the end of the day if Hamas is still there.
Do you know, Eric, if Hamas is still receiving aid from Iran or maybe even through the tunnels to Egypt?
I think from the tunnels to Egypt would be more likely, but Israel conducted an operation back in April, May, Perry, in Rafah, right there along the Israel-Egypt border, a very successful operation. That's actually where they eliminated Yahya Sinwar, who was the Hamas leader, the architect of October 7th. So I think the aid coming into Hamas now, in terms of weaponry, is scant. Needless to say, I think from Iran, it's probably non-existent for a few reasons. Number one, Gaza is pretty much closed off now by the IDF. Number two, Iran has been severely weakened. The head of the snake which is really behind all of the regional terror, has been tremendously humiliated and set back. But if there's anything flowing into Hamas, my guess would be out of Egypt still, although, again, the IDF has done a great job there as well. So I think Hamas right now is on an island, needless to say.
Before I take a break, Eric, let me ask you this. Were you surprised how complicit Egypt was in this whole game by having tunnels the size of vehicles to drive through?
A bit. Main reason is this, Perry. Hamas is the self-described Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood. They are Muslim Brotherhood. So Egypt and al-Sisi, the president of Egypt now, has been a fierce opponent of the Muslim Brotherhood. So you would think, well, Egypt won't do anything that would strengthen a branch of the Muslim Brotherhood, who is their mortal enemy. But it appears that's what's happened. And I spoke to a top Israeli analyst last week, a former spokesman for the Israel Defense Forces, Perry. He's very concerned about Egypt. And, you don't hear a lot about Egypt these days. We're focused so much on the Iranian axis, and understandably so. But Egypt has a large standing army. It's got loads of American-supplied and Western-supplied weaponry. It's the most populous Arab nation. General al-Sisi, now President al-Sisi, has had a great relationship with Israel, military intelligence cooperation. But if that changes, God forbid if Sisi's out of office and someone radical comes in, that's a new danger to the south. Again, God forbid. But Egypt, a very tenuous situation, I would say.
All right, let me take a quick break. Let me sort our viewers and listeners check out Eric's website, ericstackleback.com. There's a picture of the landing page. What time's your show on TBN?
7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, which would be 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Then it re-airs at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time, twice a night, every Monday through Friday.
All right, Stackleback tonight on TBN. And then, of course, you can hear Watchman newscasts on his YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
Sometimes we behave and perform with our lives, not for God, but for an audience that's here. And that our behavior when we're in secret may be different from how we behave when we're in the presence of people whose judgment or approval we seek. We think, for example, of the prodigal son when he pled with his father to receive his inheritance early, how he squandered that money, but before he squandered that inheritance, what did he do? He went away into a far country where he was anonymous, where no one knew him, where he didn't feel like he had to live under the scrutiny of somebody who might possibly disapprove of what he was doing. Now, Luther says we should live our whole lives not as people seeking the cover of darkness, where we have a secret life, a private life that is hidden from the gaze of our friends or of authorities, but that our lives should be lived openly in the presence of God.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
Okay, welcome back. Such a joy to have back with us. It's been way too long. Eric Stackleback, he's the host of Stackleback Tonight on the TBN television network. He also has Watchman Newscast on YouTube, and he does have his own website, ericstackleback.com, and there's a picture of his landing page. Boy, so much time. Thank you, Eric, for your time. Good to see you, buddy. Let me ask you this. Just a little bit hypothetical, but if Israel's successful in wiping out Hamas, Do you think the Gazans have enough fortitude to put together another government that wouldn't be Hamas-based?
Great question. I highly doubt it, to be honest with you, Perry. Right now, I hate to say it, but that population, I mean, down to little kids, we're talking preschool age, have been so brainwashed and so inundated with anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, anti-American, anti-civilization propaganda. It's really a culture of death that's been driven by Hamas for decades now. How do you recover from that and find genuine moderates among that mess? It's hard to see right now. And that brings us to President Trump's plan, where he said, look, let's let Gaza has been just a strip, literally a strip, hugging the Mediterranean coast of human misery for decades. It's just a complete disaster. It's been a hellish place. President Trump saying, look, let's just move the people out of Gaza, let them resettle in other Arab Muslim countries, and then we will rebuild Gaza, then and only then. Because right now, if you're President Trump, you're saying, okay, why would I pour billions of dollars into the reconstruction of Gaza only to see radical Islamists take control once again? Maybe someone even worse than Hamas emerges. Mm-hmm. Why should we do that? It's like banging your head against the wall time and time again and making the same mistake over and over again. So I think what he's suggested is really a brilliant plan. Just clear the place out, resettle the people of Gaza, the peaceful people who are left in other Arab Muslim countries, and then let's remake Gaza. Let's make it something new, a place for commerce. He's got a lot of ideas on it. So I think that is a great solution. I know that Israel is very much on board with that. And he said, look, any Gazans, moderate, peace-minded Gazans who want to live in normal lives, civilized lives, yeah, they stay behind. We buy them some nice housing. But I think to expect, without any outside intervention, Perry, I think to expect Gazans to rise up and form a Jeffersonian democracy is very unlikely.
Okay, to that point, all along Gaza was a two-state trial solution that blew up and didn't work. That alone should silence those who are still calling for a two-state solution, wouldn't you think?
Perry, this is a great point and very important because I mentioned earlier that Hamas is on an island, except for basically Western support. What do I mean by that? Number one, France, the UK, Canada, Australia, and now Belgium, all declaring that they, this month at the UN General Assembly in New York, are going to recognize a Palestinian state. Now, Hamas sees this and says, wow, we're like in our death throes here, but it seems the West is throwing us a lifeline. So we accomplished our goal on October 7th. To them, October 7th was a success in that now the West is pushing for a Palestinian state. It's madness. And what these European and then Canada and Australia, what these powers, quote unquote, have done is only to embolden Hamas and encourage Hamas to dig in further and make even more extreme demands.
Yeah, it's lunacy on steroids. It really is. It's crazy. Let me ask you this. When Israel completes the job and wipes out Hamas, it would also conclude that you may have to finish Iran in order for it not to rise again. Do you think that's on the table?
Oh, I think it's very much on the table. The Iranian regime, for sure, Perry. Look, the 12-day war back in June, just stunning on every level. Not only were obviously Iran's nuclear weapons facilities destroyed, nuclear program set back years by Israel and the United States, but the top echelon of Iran's military leadership eliminated. All of Iran's top nuclear scientists, their Oppenheimers, eliminated. Their missile launchers, massive dent made in that, their ballistic missile stockpiles. So Iran right now is reeling, the Iranian regime. There's drought in Iran right now, Perry, massive water shortage. We have the electricity, the power's going out. It's a terrible situation on the ground in Iran. And yes, on one hand, okay, Israel, the U.S., perhaps they'll finish the job with the regime. But Perry, on the other hand, and this is what we really pray for, and we've been praying for years, my prayer is that the Iranian people rise up against this regime without outside help, that the people say enough is enough. The main victims of this wicked, tyrannical regime for the past 46 years are the Iranian people. And some 70, 80% of the Iranian people, poll after poll shows, do not support this regime. They despise this regime. And Perry, one note of encouragement, keep this in mind for everyone watching. Iran is a Bible land. That's ancient Persia. Think of Mordecai, Esther, Cyrus, Darius from your Bible that all went down in Iran, which was once known as Persia. And one last quick nugget, the world's fastest growing church, talk about encouraging, the fastest growing Christian population is in Iran. Despite relentless persecution, it's largely underground, but you can't stop the gospel. And the church is actually growing in Iran. It's amazing.
It really is. We're hearing those reports. And you know what's interesting about this? Most of the citizens in Iran have had a taste of the outside world before it got shut down. Now that the leadership's been knocked down, they have the fortitude. Do they see the opportunity?
I think they absolutely see the opportunity, but I think, Perry, what they need is a leader. The Iranian opposition, it's number one, it's various groups. Number two, the regime, it's a tyranny. I mean, it's a totalitarian police state. So they've cracked down even more heavily. They're arresting people since the 12-day war. Everyone's a spy. They're accusing everyone of being an Israeli spy. But I think a galvanizing leader. During the Cold War, Perry, I mentioned Reagan and Thatcher earlier. During the Cold War, think of Poland, the Solidarity movement, Lech Walesa. He was this galvanizing leader that the West got behind, who stood against the Soviets and helped, really, I believe, help bring down the Soviet empire ultimately. I think Iran needs maybe a face of the new Iranian revolution, perhaps. You have Reza Pahlavi in America. He's the son of the Shah in D.C., but I think you need someone on the ground. And I think that will emerge eventually.
Okay.
But there may be some nasty things before that happens, sadly.
I got a million questions, but let me wrap it up with this. Stepping back a little bit, prophetically, how do you see this today? I mean, what's your prophetic wisdom telling you about what's going on today?
Yeah, I think what I've called this the October 7th wars. Israel's wars against Hamas, Hezbollah, the Iranian regime, the Houthis in Yemen, are setting the groundwork for larger prophetic events to come. I think, number one, when all is said and done, Israel's going to have some breathing room here, and there will be peace treaties with the Saudis, and there's going to be a sense, wow, and it will be. It's going to be a new Middle East. I really believe that's coming. But in terms of the groundwork being laid, Perry, I think the looming Gog-Magog war that the prophet Ezekiel describes, Ezekiel 38, chapter 38 and 39, this coming war where Iran, it specifically names Persia, will be joined by Turkey, very likely Russia, and other Muslim powers to come against Israel. Now, they don't get very far. God intervenes, as if you read the scripture, you'll see that. But I think that the groundwork is being set right now for some very major prophetic events. I'm not a timetable setter, but...
Do you see Saudi Arabia joining the accord?
I do. Yeah, I'd be shocked if the Saudis don't do that in the next 2 years, certainly under President Trump, in his administration. I'd be very surprised if the Saudis don't join. Anything's possible. Maybe they won't. But, Perry, all the momentum has been building in that direction. I mean, in President Trump's first term, if he remained in office, it would have happened. Everyone's very clear. I've talked to former Trump administration officials about that. That was going to happen.
So,
so now, you know.
Excuse me. There's one other part of this equation that's still kind of mysterious, and that is Qatar.
Big problem.
The president went over there and showed a lot of friendship. I guess that has a plus and a minus to it. What's your take?
I agree. I think Qatar is a huge problem. Talk about the Muslim Brotherhood. We mentioned that earlier, Perry. That's like a base, a seat of the Brotherhood, big supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood network worldwide. Look, they bankrolled Hamas for years. many consider Qatar a state sponsor of terrorism in that regard because of its consistent support for Hamas. And yet the U.S. has deep ties there, business ties, and all the rest. President Trump is very interesting in many ways, but in the way he conducts foreign policy, a lot of it is foreign policy through commerce.
Yes.
So I think with the Qataris, he's saying, look, we'll throw you some bones in terms of commerce, economically, trade, etc. And perhaps that's a way to turn Qatar away from extremism. Okay. And he's doing the same with Syria, with the new Syrian government. It's a risk, but he's saying, look, we'll dangle some carrots to them. But if they don't respond accordingly, we'll have to dangle the stick.
Yeah. Interesting. By the way, is your Watchman newscast exclusive?
It is on YouTube, and I'm sure anyone can use clips from it. We've got close to 1.1 million subscribers, believe it or not. It's Watchman, M-A-N, WatchmanTV.com. Okay. I just wondering if it's something we could format and put on the Dove TV network and get you another 1 million viewers. I'd love that. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Good to see you, friend. It's been long, way too long. Can we get you more often?
Sure. Sounds great, Perry. I enjoyed it, man. Great to see you.
All right. Good to see you. EricStackleback.com. That's the website. Check out his broadcast and his show tonight, Stackleback tonight on TBN. And then, of course, check out the YouTube channel, Watchman Newscast. Thank you, brother. God bless you. Thanks for your time.
Perry, you too. God bless. See you again soon.
Okay.
Clean water is essential to your good health. Ultra Pure Purified Water has been delivering purified, healthy drinking water to the Rogue Valley since 1995. Locally owned and family-run, Ultra Pure Purified Water uses a multi-stage process ensuring your delivery of water is 99.8% pure, so your family stays hydrated and healthy. Online at ultrapurewaterinc.com or call 541-734-0828. 541-734-0828.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated, pet friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Over 21,000 interviews, over 40-plus years. It's quite a feat, and one person can claim this huge milestone. The Dove's Perry Atkinson. Since 1983, Perry has been taking you up close to newsmakers, politics, world affairs, and a who's who of ministry leaders to encourage your walk with Christ. Tap into his experience and knowledge every weekday, right here, only on the Dove TV and radio.
Okay, welcome back. And the topic that's been in the news a lot is America healthy? Well, as you know, that's been a major part of a lot of discussions, out of which we now got a new Secretary of Health. I am delighted to have back with us our good friend Tony Lyons. Tony now is the director of MAHA, Make America Healthy Again Action. He's an attorney and president of Skyhorse Publishing. As the MAHA Action, Tony leads the national campaign to confront the chronic disease epidemic and reform public health policy. As a publisher, he continues to champion a broad range of voices and ideas and books, including the Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Wuhan cover-up, and terrifying bioweapons arms race, just to mention a few. He does have a couple of websites, mahaaction.com, and then there's skyhorsepublishing.com. There's a picture of both landing pages. He's been his publishing company is pretty remarkable. The real Anthony Fauci, you can get that, the book on RFK Jr., among other ones out there. Tony, good to see you again, friend. How are you, buddy?
Great. Yeah, thanks for having me back.
You bet. So, hey, congratulations on your new role. What drew you to go over there?
Well, you know, I've known Bobby Kennedy for something like 15 years. I've published all of his books, about 14 books, and really feel strongly that his mission is a mission that we all should share, that we need to make this country healthy once again. And if we look all around the world, you know, if you turn on the television and you listen to somebody like Michael Bloomberg or Bernie Sanders, they're going to tell you that things are going great, that people are healthy in this country, and that Bobby Kennedy is a threat to that. But, you know, we all know that health comes from good food, clean air, water, sunlight, and then the absence of toxic exposures. So we've had our children poisoned in this country by the food they eat, by the dyes in those foods, by the drugs and the things in those drugs, by pesticides, by vaccines, by all kinds of things that are delivery mechanisms for toxins. And that has to stop. I mean, we spend 3 times the amount of money on public health as any country in the world, and we have so much worse health outcomes that it's an embarrassment to the company. I mean, to the country. But, you know, more than that, it's, you know, these are our children, and we have to protect our children. Nothing could be more important than that.
Beautiful. All right, let me back up and then go forward. I'm trying to figure out, you know, when Bobby Kennedy announced that he was shutting his campaign down and endorsing President Trump, he gave a speech. And that speech was stunning. I still remember it. And I did not know that in the heart and the soul of this man was this passion about health. Where did that come from, Tony?
You know, he's been fighting toxins in all kinds of things and all of the different ways that toxins get into our bodies for the last 40 years. He brought more than 500 lawsuits and became an expert in the science by getting into the details of all those lawsuits. So this has been a passion of his. This has been a profession of his for decades, and he's dedicated his life to making people healthy and to fighting these big corporations who are polluting everything in this country. So we need to change our priorities from profits to public health, to taking care of our own people, which doesn't actually mean that we can't have companies making a lot of money. I mean, in the free market system, companies that make money are companies that do things that are good for the people of this country, that they create products that are actually helpful. So the problem is the corruption in Washington, D.C., that both Donald Trump and Secretary Kennedy are really fighting tooth and nail now. And in a corrupt system, you can create products that harm people, but you don't have to pay for the consequences. So those companies that have had this free ride for the last 20 or 30 years know now that the jig is up, and they're attacking Donald Trump, they're attacking Bobby Kennedy, but they're also attacking all of us, because this is a fight that's important to everybody, to every parent, to every child in this country.
Okay, how bad was the epidemic management, and in particular the vaccines' residual effect upon us?
Yeah, so I think that, you know, clearly we had a virus that was created by funding from the U.S. government. And then we had vaccines that we were told would really end this problem that we created. And we were given bad science. So Donald Trump really wanted to do something good for the country. Warp speed was this, you know, this process of solving a problem that he, as an incredible businessman and problem solver, wanted to get done. But he was given bad information. So, you know, the advisors that he had at the time, the scientists that came to him, the manufacturers of the vaccines, they all came to him and they lied to him, just like they lied to the American public. They said that these products worked. They said that they were safe. They said that people couldn't get or transmit COVID if they took them. And what actually happened was that just wasn't true. So many people then took these products and suffered from them and were injured by them. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people were injured by them. And now we're getting the full story finally. And Donald Trump, said 2 days ago that if the vaccine manufacturers have proof that their products were safe and effective, they should give that to us now. Not in 75 years, not in 20 years, not in 1 year, but right now. And I think he understands that he was misled and that now we have to start to really make sure that we have gold standard science, that we have really great research, and that we have total transparency, that the American public has a right to know what they're putting in their own bodies and in their children's bodies.
As a sidebar question, will Dr. Fauci ever be held accountable?
I think that there ought to be a way, and that probably there will be a way to prosecute him. That, that the things that he did were clearly on such a historic level that the American public is going to demand justice. So I don't know what form that justice is going to take, but I think it's coming.
Is it possible that a state could get him, but not the feds?
It's very tough from that sort of perspective. It's hard to know whether his preemptive pardon is actually even valid because, did the president really sign it? Was he misled? Did somebody else do it at the time? So, it's hard to know whether it could be done at the federal level or at the state level or in some other way. But it seems really important that there be justice served.
All right, back to some things here. It appears to me, Tony, that cancer and obesity have been an ongoing epidemic in this country for years. How is RFK addressing that?
Well, he sees that all of these companies, both on the side of delivering toxins to people, that they prioritize the wrong thing, and that then on the healthcare side, these big pharma companies, they have recognized that there's no money, that there's no business model in curing people. So, the business model has been in making people sick, keeping them sick, treating that sickness. So Bobby Kennedy and President Donald Trump is right behind him on this, and they are working so well together. And they are saying that this model has to change, that our top priority has to be to make Americans healthy, that that's a fundamental problem in this country, that if we don't have healthy people, we can't have a great country. And so I think that everything that's going on now with the presidential fitness test, bringing that back, that's an incredibly important thing, that we should take pride in our health and our fitness, that, canceling $500 million worth of mRNA orders, that was a great move. Getting mercury out of the multi-dose flu vaccine, that's an incredible thing, that there were millions and millions of children that were getting mercury in their brains. Going state by state and getting the states to do things that are harder to do on the federal level, to create this sort of patchwork where states won't let food companies put certain kinds of pesticides or food colorings or too much sugar into foods that they give to children. Those are all a part of the sort of tapestry that's going to pressure these companies to do the right thing. And I think it's working really, really well. And it's an incredible success story so far.
One quick question before I take a break, and you've been talking all around it. Let's just kind of hit it in the head, and that's how big of a problem is Big Pharma?
Big Pharma is a really big problem in all kinds of ways, and they have so much power, and they've used so many lobbyists, and they control the entire mainstream media by pharmaceutical ads on TV and in newspapers and in magazines. So there really needs to be progress made there. But, this is an existential battle. And these companies have been just ruthless in their desire to make money. And we have all suffered for it. And that has to end now.
All right, let me take a quick break. Let me say Tony has a couple of websites, MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, Action, MAHAaction.com. There's that website. And then he has his publishing website, skyhorsepublishing.com, very successful publishing company. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Alex McFarland addresses the hard-hitting questions about faith, morality, and culture.
We are to present, explain, defend the gospel.
Watch Alex McFarland Tuesdays and weekends on the Dove TV.
At Kelly's Automotive Service,
being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us
is at the core of our business.
We believe what we do matters.
Every interaction, every transaction is another opportunity
to bring Christ's values into the marketplace.
If you're a technician who wants to be part of something bigger,
or just looking for a new shop to bring your vehicle,
we would love to meet you.
We're Kelly's Automotive Service,
where we service your vehicle,
but take care of you.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
You really have sort of the wireframe, if you will, the template of how to pray. First of all, it's your Father who art in heaven. Yes, he's God. Yes, he's all powerful. But guess what? He's your Father. And he's your Father who loves you. Jesus said, it's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. We don't follow a stingy God. We don't follow an angry God. God is not mad at you. God is mad about you. And he can't keep his eyes off of you. And he wants to hear from you. My Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's great to offer worship and praise to God when you pray. Thank him for what he has already done and ask for his will in your life.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
Welcome home to the Dove, a trusted friend enriching your faith with inspiring content that will change your life forever.
Welcome home to the Dove TV, radio, and the Dove.us. Okay, welcome back, and an honor to have back with us today Tony Lyons. He's the director of the MAHA, Make America Healthy Again Action. He's also an attorney, and he's president of Skyhorse Publishing, which is a great publishing company that has published some great books. By the way, a couple of websites, mahaaction.com, and then his publishing company, skyhorsepublishing.com. A couple of websites there. So, Tony, you hear this a little bit, but not much. What are we going to do to get our pharmaceutical manufacturers out of China and back home where we can actually watch what they're making?
Yeah, that's a great point because, one of the things that's becoming clear is that countries all around the world are creating products that are really dangerous, and they're exporting them to the United States, or they're making drugs in their own countries that they don't give to their own people. And that's true with pesticides too. It's true with herbicides. It's true with all kinds of things where in China, but in many other places, they would send a product to the United States to be consumed by our people that they wouldn't give to their own people. And that, I think, has to stop. And we need control over the products that we give to all the people in this country, but especially to our children.
They're starting to trace now, as stuff comes from China, that it's laced with fentanyl. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, that just has to stop. And much of this just turns on the corruption that has overtaken Washington, and that this is all about money. It's about making things much cheaper, that these companies can make much more money on. But if you look at Medicare and Medicaid, they're then on the hook for the lifetime of so many people who have chronic diseases that are created by bad drugs, bad pesticides, bad foods, bad vaccines. So, the world is starting to change now, though, that even on the demand side, millions of Americans are just inspired because they're learning more And they're seeing things that then can't be unseen. So the world is really changing, that people are going back to gyms. They're looking at food labels. They're deciding not to get booster shots. They're deciding not to drug their children. And Bobby Kennedy says this many, many times. He says, there are no Republican or Democratic children. We all have to get together on the issue of protecting our children's health. So, we can have all these newspapers, all these magazines, all these mainstream TV shows saying that the world was great, that public health has been great. But any rational person looks at the fact that we've spent so much more money than any other country on the planet for these terrible health outcomes, and that we need to change that now. So one of the big problems that we've had is that we can't get good information, not from the government in the past, not from the media. So we at Maha Action are trying to create our own media hub. And I would love to tell you all about that. It's a fascinating program.
Yes, let me ask you one more question. We'll come back to that. What are the procedures of abolishing some of these bad drugs, additives? How do you get them abolished?
Yeah, so there's a process, that many of the chemicals. So, for example, U.S. food has 10,000 chemicals in it, whereas all around Europe they have 400. So, you go to a McDonald's in London or in Paris, and the food is much, much healthier. So we need political action. We need our politicians to stop allowing this to happen. And so to have somebody like Bobby Kennedy, in a position, which he says, he thanks Donald Trump from the bottom of his heart, because he says he prayed for 19 years to have the opportunity to actually do this work, which is, really God's work, not for money, not for power, not for fame, but to protect the American people, to protect children. And I think we now have people at HHS who are going to fight day and night, tooth and nail, to change all of these laws, to change all of these rules, and to incentivize companies to do the right thing. It's not about trying to prevent them from making money, but it's stopping to protect them from their corruption. That we've had a system that protects companies that do the wrong thing because they donate money, because they have powerful lobbyists, because they control media. And we need to create a system where people get a benefit from doing the right thing, from helping people, from creating products that are good for you.
Okay, so what's the action plan for Maha Action?
So we're having a weekly call now that has 10 really well-known people, some of them from the government, some of them from companies, and some of them, who are influencers with big followings. And then we're having something like 3,000 or 4,000 people on those calls who are all influencers themselves. And so between all the people on those calls that are getting action steps and things to repost, we have a group of people who have something like 300 million followers. So there's some duplication there, but it is hundreds of millions of people are going to get the truth, are going to have lies exposed for them so that they know what's really going on, so that the fake news that's put out there by the mainstream media that is really corporate news, and that the corporate science is exposed, and that people then have the information that's necessary to make good decisions for themselves and for their families.
It appears America is waking up to just how bad things have become, which is a good sign. And to your point earlier, where the food may be healthier in Europe than here, I think one of the biggest ones we saw was the additives of ketchup in Europe versus here. And when you see that, it is kind of staggering. And you kind of wonder now, is the American people, and to your point, is the American mom waking up to the fact that their kids have been targeted with bad health?
So I think people all around the country are recognizing that they've been lied to, and that there's been just incredible propaganda campaigns. And I would say to them that they shouldn't blame themselves. that it's really not their fault, that they were tricked, they were lied to, they were subjected, like I said, to incredible propaganda. But now we have the opportunity to turn this all back, to get back to a point where we can use the great science that's coming out, the most modern methods, and really begin to create a system that helps us be the healthiest people on the planet, so that we're a beacon of hope to the planet rather than the disgrace, rather than at the bottom of all of the lists when it comes to longevity or chronic disease or cancers and allergies and autism and all of those things. That we should be ashamed of that as a country, and we should be so grateful for President Trump and for Secretary Kennedy, who he has empowered to turn this around. And he has said, we need to turn around the chronic disease epidemic in this country, and we need to do it now.
You've called it once in a generation opportunity. Is that right?
It definitely is. And if it's not done now, I don't know when it will be done. I mean, we have so many sick children. I mean, almost, half of our population are obese, have some kind of chronic disease. I mean, we are really a poisoned people, and this is the time to turn it around, and it has to be now. And so I think that the entire country is beginning to recognize that. And the attacks that we see day after day, you can read in the New York Times almost every day now, some kind of hit piece on somebody who's either at HHS or somebody working with Donald Trump or Bobby Kennedy himself, all kinds of people in the orbit who are trying to make Americans healthy, they get attacked. And that attack shows you something. It shows that they're afraid, that they see that we're winning, and they see, they're really starting to see that no amount of money is going to convince the American public of things that they can see themselves aren't true.
What is it about good health they don't like?
It's not that they care whether people are healthy or unhealthy. It's that they just want to make as much money as they can make. And that we've had a government in place, we've had a system in place that protects this disgusting money machine. Whether it's pharmaceutical companies or big agricultural companies or big food companies, these companies and the people running them have lost their way. And these are companies that have been that have been willing to poison the American public. And like I said, we need to create a system where the good players, the good actors, the people really fighting to do the right thing, get an incentive from the government to help our people, to bring products to our nation that are going to improve public health. And I think that's possible. And I think it's starting to happen now. And it's only been about 6 months, but I think you see all the signs that President Trump and Secretary Kennedy are winning. And that, part of that, once again, is that they get attacked day after day. But the attacks are getting to be pathetic, that they're saying that, better nutrition in schools is somehow dangerous. Less toxins in drugs or in vaccines or in pesticides is dangerous. So I think we can put up with those kinds of dangers, that we've given the so-called experts the opportunity to do something good with all the money and all the power they have. And they failed the American public, and Americans voted for change, and they're getting it now. And I think once they begin to see the impact of that, they're going to be so incredibly grateful for it.
I got 1 minute left. Let me ask you this. It's one thing to outlaw something. It's another thing to create a new standard. Where are you in the process?
Yeah, so I don't think that, Bobby Kennedy wants to ban things. What he wants to do is make sure the American public has good access to information. So if people want to take vaccines, they should be allowed to. If companies want to produce them, they should be, entitled to it. If people want to create food that isn't healthy, that's fine. But we need the American public to have the awareness so that they can make rational decisions and not just be trapped in this web of lies, corruption, and propaganda.
All right, check out the website, mahaaction.com. That's the Action website. And then his publishing website, skyhorsepublishing.com. Tony, you're a delight, friend. Thank you so much. God bless you. Stay in the fight, and let's stay connected.
Thanks so much for having me.
Good to see you.
Gary is a very tall Kiwi from New Zealand. He's 6'6" and loves to travel around the globe to chat with well-known people. Stop by for a chat and a spot of tea with a very tall man, Wednesdays on theDove TV.